And a happy Sunday. Oh, Cheryl, good afternoon and good to see you in here. Well, we'll see how this live turns out to be today on Sunday. There's so many things that we got to cover, but yeah, we'll do our best to come in and entertain ourselves just a little bit. Try to keep it neutral, but we're trying to keep it America first. This whole message of America first kind of gets a lot of Republicans and conservatives a little bit twisted because everybody has a different type of understanding of what America first really means. A lot of times, it's like children. As parents, we know that our children are first, our family are first. But there's things that we got to do. We have to leave our house to go outside, go to work, make the money, and then bring those things inside to our family. The government has to work in a certain way, kind of similar to that. And unfortunately, a lot of conservatives and Republicans, and a lot of people, period, in general, they think that the president should stay home and just worry about all the national issues that we have here. Well, that's not how it works. Daddy needs to go to work, and daddy has to go make investments, make deals, and got to make sure that the economy is going to be ready for the future. In the meantime, we have to be patient. With that being said, good afternoon, Cray. How are you, Freshly? My favorite. This is a manless wonderland, says Eric. It'd be nice if we get before every time before we start getting into actual issues. Allow me to introduce myself and what my opening thought is, and then we can say hello to each other, and then we can jump into what the subject is going to be about today. Um, does anybody know what the subject of today is? Yeah, just a little quick question. But before you get there, salud, my patriots. Come on, get in there. Best dad ever. I bought this cup for myself on Father's Day. Why I bought it myself, you say? Because I'm the one that gave the money to buy it. But my kids say that I'm the best dad ever. So, I thought it was funny to get the one from President Donald Trump. Omar, how are you, little brother? Let's go. Let's go. Yeah, I got my favorite black hat on hold up there. I got it up on my shelf because I was wearing it when I went to the store. Now, just so you guys know, yeah, Marjorie Green. We're gonna talk about her. Yep, yep. Hey, what do you guys think about? I want to show you guys. You guys always. There's a lot of people that always tell me that I'm always wearing a hat and they don't know why. Well, what do you guys think about that? A lot of people don't know, that I have a native side to me, and of course, people always judge a book by its cover, and they think that the way somebody looks, that's the way that they are. Well, sometimes that is true. If you want to go back to your roots, sometimes you gotta, use some of the old traditional ways of haircuts, for example, way of dressing. One of the reasons why I love and support my natives here, the American Indians, it's that they still have their clothing, their folklore clothing, the whole moccasins and all these other stuff. I think those are beautiful things to do. The big hair dressings is that what it's called, the hairdress, the crowns that they wear. Thank you, Cheryl. It's made out of all these feathers. We don't have that in Honduras. We only have a few feathers. We never really had the big, what do you call that, Heath? What is the name of the feathers that the chiefs wear, and a lot of the shaman wear? Aaron, what's up? Yeehaw, bro. What are you talking about? Oh, Yeehaw's confused. He doesn't know what I'm talking about. We're talking about being half native, except I'm not native from North America. I'm from Central America. Yeah, as the Mexicans. Okay, there you go. Head. It is a headdress, right? Yeah, it's a headdress that is made out of all feathers, and the ones that are the most sought after were, I believe that it was eagle feathers. I think that's the biggest one, but there's lots of different kind of feathers. Senator Pocahontas headdress, says Mark. Lara, headdress. Yep, thank you guys. I appreciate it. I knew you guys were listening. I appreciate it when you guys give me some of those feedbacks back to me. What's going on here? Forgot to turn my light on back here. Hopefully it stays on. I had these lights forever. I'm surprised that they still work. Epstein Files next week, my friend. Next week. Next week. Be patient. Hang in there. We will find out what's going on. Heath Wood says they are called war bonnets and they have significant meaning. How many feathers and different colors means your rank? Yes. Thank you, Heath. I appreciate that. The native Indian from Honduras is different than the native Indians here of the United States of America or Northern America. Most likely, we wear the headband and a couple of feathers in the back. So a couple of feathers back here and a headband. That is from my father's side. My mother's side, I'm very light skinned. I'm a Spaniard descent from my mother's family. And the other side is a Lenca Maya descent. So that's what I'm at. So thank you guys for the compliments. I appreciate it. Not everybody likes to give compliments like that, especially when somebody actually stands up for American values. Let's see. Hey, don't make fun of the natives, bro. That's one thing I won't tolerate. Do not make fun of the natives, okay? So with that being said, Cutting Edge, what up? What's up? All right, the subject of today is why are so many people being deported? And why is socialism so destructive? Well, we're going to go ahead and, oh, man. Man, some of you guys will appreciate this, and some of you guys are probably just going to talk crap and fall asleep during the lesson because we are going to listen to a couple of professors go at it. This is a video that was played about 5 years ago, of course, before Trump, was elected, etc. But there's two professors, and one of them is hardcore socialist, and the other one, well, he's a capitalist. And we will go ahead and give our points on both. We will be listening to them. And but first, we're going to go ahead and play some other clips of news and things that I want to talk about and address and give you my 2 cents on it. Let's see. What do we got here? Question. No, not today. Let's see. God's child is a black man. I love my natives for life. There you go. Well, they're all Americans, baby. Everybody born in this state are Americans, and those naturalized are also Americans. I was thinking about there is a tribe here in Washington State. I don't know all the ins and ins about it, but they're not being recognized as a native tribe here in Washington State. And when we run for governor, even if I don't make the race or whatnot, I would like to push some sort of agenda to see why they're not being recognized, and if they can be recognized. I think that all native tribes should be recognized. I haven't talked to the tribal chiefs, of the Indian tribes here in Washington. But I would love to sit down. I'm going to see if I can get some contacts to see if I can sit down and kind of ask some questions about it and see if we can, get something together so that we can get our Chinook tribes, recognized as a Native American tribe, because they are by history, I believe, they have been dwellers by the Columbia River here in Washington State, but they don't have any rest available. The other subject to tackle and talk about is going to be We all know that reservations, Indian tribes, they depend on the government for money, etc. But I would like to see what we can plan to do to be able to work together in some way. We need to stop this whole 100% segregation from the government and then expect the government to support you. I think there's got to be something that we need to talk about there and see if I'm sure that people have talked about this, but the difference is that people don't really care when they talk about it, and I do. So we'll see what we can do. He says, Dirty Money says, hello, my fellow American patriots. Everybody, welcome to the chat. Heath, my brother, says, Dennis, do you think there is a plan in place for Trump to run for 2028? Nah, I think that's just trolling people. That's just, that's just to trigger the other side. I don't think he's going to run for 2028. There's no way. Aaron Blaze says, a dirty money like a cult, real patriots. A cult can be a good thing or a bad thing. It depends on what your intentions are, but you can call it what you will. We call this MAGA country, and we want to make America great again. Just so you guys know, a little update. I have ordered 2 more hats to come to my collection. And one of them is going to be the MWGA, Make Washington Great Again. And the other one is going to be DHS, Dennis Herrera. That will stand for the Dennis Herrera Show. And yes, I am doing that for myself. I want to thank you guys for your love and support. As you guys know, this is what I do for a living. So when you guys support me, I appreciate that. Makes me continue, helps me continue doing what we are doing. All right, Dirty Money, Heath, Cheryl, I say hello to all my members and subscribers, I believe. Lara, Cray, and who else do we have in here besides Omar, my favorite little brother? My little Muslim. We cannot forget, of course, my most active propaganda manager, Freshly in the house. All right, let me see. We're going to go ahead and start off. Let me see. Buzzinated says Marjorie Trader Brown. Marjorie, we're going to talk about Marjorie Green for sure. But why don't we get this party started with a little bit of warm-up here. Let's go ahead and start with Matt Walsh on X put in this post. You've probably seen this already. As you will notice, this is the previous, the ex-first lady in the White House. I don't know what the hell she's doing sitting like that, but maybe he's trying to make sure that people know that there's nothing in between the legs there or something. I don't know what that is. All right, but let's just go ahead and take a listen to her, and we'll go from there. We'll go from there. Let's see. Let's listen to the wisdom of this black woman that used to be the first lady of the United States of America, and the class that she has brought to the White House and the Oval Office. It's undeniable. This lady, she's very smart. She's very loving. She's very supporting. She's pro-Americans. And I think that, she deserves our attention for a little bit. Let's take a look and see what she has to say.
Worry about it. Let me explain something to white people.
Whoa.
Our hair comes out of our head naturally in a curly pattern.
White people, pay attention.
So when we're straightening it to follow your beauty standards, we are trapped by the straightness. That's why so many of us can't swim. And we
I'm sorry, my black Americans. I'm sorry, but hey, listen. She said it. He or it, they, them, said it. Not me.
We run away from the water. People won't go to the gym because we're trying to keep our hair straight for you.
Guys, I was gonna let her finish the talk, but I really don't understand. I have seen black people swimming. I see a lot of black people at the gym. I worked out and swim with many of them. I don't know what world she lives in or what the hell is she talking about. But she is a real victim, guys. You need to listen. You guys need to listen. Stop being disrespectful. She has feelings as well.
It is exhausting and it's so expensive and it takes up so much time. Braids are for y'all so we can work harder and focus on the work. So why do we need an act, an act of law to tell white folks to get out of our hair? Don't tell me how to wear my hair. Don't wonder about it. Don't touch it.
Yeah, guys, don't touch black people's hair.
Just don't.
Ladies and gentlemen, that used to be the first lady in the White House. Greatest example of the most hateful failure of a human being in our country history that has ever stepped in the White House. And that, my friends, is how we start this evening. Unbelievable. I can't believe that. I can't believe that she actually said those things. All right, you go back into my little niche corner here. And let's see, what is my next one here? My next one is going to be Mexican palace swarmed by protesters over cartel violence. Well, but, they're finally standing up against the government for not doing what they're supposed to be doing. Let's see here. A couple of comments here from you guys. What did you think about the previous First Lady of the United States of America? Aren't you glad we have Melania now? I think it's amazing. Let's see. What do we got? I missed some comments in here. Dirty money. What do we got? Let's go up. Let's see. Okay. I stopped there. He was that's like thinking Nick Sabine is coming back to the LSU. Why would Trump not run in 2028? Yeah, for one, man, you guys are so selfish. Let him rest. Let him retire and enjoy the last few years of his life, golfing more and spending more time with their family. Let them do their own thing and take care of themselves. But I think he should weaponize the government right now and take out everybody that has been weaponizing the government against him and his family. I think it's the right thing to do. Retribution, call it whatever the hell you want. If it was possible to do before, it needs to continue to happen. Hold every single person accountable. I say weaponize that government, investigate everybody, and pull everybody into court. Subpoena everybody. Make them swear on the Bible, and hopefully they lie, and that we have proof that they're lying so that they can get even worse punishment in jail. Omar says, I'm getting Culver's. Heath, it is not too much to ask to at least recognize them. Don't you think? I'm not sure. I lost this here. I lost that comment there. Mr. Timeout, what's up, Dan? Oh, Manuel. Mr. Timeout is here, guys. Manuel in the house. I don't want the federal government to support me. Yeah, well, a lot of our Indian reservations actually depend on the government. I believe all of them depend on the government. Federal government, of course. Dirty Money says, Darius, you do indeed have freedom of speech. However, it often comes with consequences. And while you are here, this is MAGA country. This is a channel for American patriots. If you don't stand for America, you are more than welcome to take off from my channel. And thank you for stopping by. Let's see. Steve Bannon gave an interview, and he is pretty sad on saying Trump is going to be president in 2028 and that there is a plan in place. If all else fails, maybe, but I don't think so. I think that J.D. Vance should run for president with the choice of Tulsi or Marco Rubio. Either way. There's 3 candidates that are perfect right now. Pete Hegseth might be one of them, but I don't think so. Nonetheless, we can have 8, 16, we can have 24 years of conservative Republican values of securing our nation, our country, and putting Americans first. Cutting Edge says a crazy interview. He did not like the white ladies. The author Stoic did not like Michael Obama. Yeah, sorry about that. Big Mike says Cheryl. Heath says it is possible being that we have the House and the Senate if he has the wheel of the power and is able to remove the 22nd Amendment. If you look at history, there have been other presidents do it, I believe 3 times in history. But I don't think that he, honestly, I don't think he needs to do it. What I think he needs to do is run this next 3 years. I mean, the guy's already 80 years old, guys. He's going to be 83 years old, 84 years old by the time he becomes president again. I think that's pushing it. He's not God. After a certain age, we know that, even I am aware that I won't be able to have the same brain capacity at an older age, even though the 2 people that we're going to be listening to go at it with socialism versus capitalism are very old. But I think that one of them speaks better than the other, but he does not deceive me. I think that I would like to talk with these old people in face to face. I really would. Let's see, 98. I see you. Welcome to the chat. Let's see. Marjorie has been awful. Why did Trump gave her an endorsement? Well, he took it back, so she's not endorsed by President Donald Trump anymore. Rush, babe, in the house. Welcome, sister. Rush coming in like a hurricane, says dirty money. Let's go. Subscribe for sake of debate and discussion. I don't think that I can debate or discuss anything with people that don't want to learn the truth. As you will see, that there is 2 old men, socialism versus capitalism, and they are both stuck in their own way. So neither one is going to give in to the other's point. So what we need to do is listen to the points, and then we can make a decision. All right? Now let's go ahead and jump into the Mexican palace is being swarmed. Let's see what's going on in Mexico, guys. I have not seen these clips yet.
Massive protests breaking out in Mexico City. More than 100 police officers were injured in these violent clashes outside of the National Palace. The unrest follows the assassination of a mayor who had criticized Sheinbaum's approach to fighting drug cartels. Demonstrators, many of them Gen Z, accused the president of ignoring cartel violence and rejecting U.S. help to combat it. Leonardo Falcon and Ignacio Gonzalez are here. They have a podcast called
Welcome, Brian. Welcome.
The Leo and Nacho podcast in Mexico, and we've had them on many times on Fox Noticias. I'll start with you, Leo. Why don't you just explain to the American people what is happening at this moment, because Mexico is in full revolt right now.
Yes, ma'am. First of all, good morning to the United States, and good morning to you, Rachel. And what Mexico is currently facing is a national awakening. What we're looking at, what you're probably looking at in the screens, is a protest of the Gen Z movement in Mexico, where there are no parties that they are leading this. It's the youth, it's the Mexican people. It's not about the left, it's not about the right, it's about the Mexican people wanting the best for the country. And we're all together in this protest, we're all together for a better country, and we see it. It's beautiful, it's beautiful. We saw over more than 100,000 people during the streets of Mexico, and it was pretty impressive from our part to see it for the first time, and we were actually there. So we're very happy of the people that showed up in the country and that they are pushing for a change.
Nacho, why are the Mexican people so angry at Claudia Sheinbaum, your president?
Well, in a country which you have 60 murders and 40 missing people a day, every single day, of course they are shocked. Of course they are shocked.
Yeah.
We, the youth, are really desperate because we don't see the light. The generations see the teenagers after this horrific situation. We decide to protest.
Yes.
Not with a flag of any political party, no, because they are killing us.
Yes.
That's the reality.
Okay, so what do you believe that Claudia Sheinbaum is complicit in this? We've had senators on here, Senator Lily Tejas, who bravely said Mexico is indeed a narco state, and she said that Claudia Sheinbaum and her Morena party, the political party she belongs to, is in business with the cartels. Is that true in your opinion, Leo?
Well, when we look at what Nacho just mentioned, when we look at 60 murders, 40 missing people every single day, the narco state of Mexico makes it pretty obvious that there's some things going on behind the curtains in the Mexican government.
Yeah.
This is sad, but what we look at here in the protest is that there's actually a noticing. There's actually a noticing of all of the Mexican youth, of all of the Mexican families, that they are saying, how can this be happening? And when you have such a big amount of the population mad, upset at what's happening in the country, something's going on. And that's when you have a protest like the one we had yesterday.
Yeah, absolutely. And by the way, people should understand, not only was that mayor murdered in public with his wife and his child there, but then a few days later, another mayor was executed. He was actually decapitated, his head placed on the hood of his car. This kind of stuff happens all the time. It's totally normalized in Mexico, and the Mexican people are sick of it. Now, President Trump, Nacho, has said, I'm going to take on the cartels in Venezuela, and of course, they're a transnational network, and that includes the cartels in Mexico. He has gone to Sheinbaum and said, will you help me? But her help appears to be very superficial, not real. What do the Mexican people want, Nacho, especially Generation Z? Because Generation Z is the one who is sort of fueling this protest. In fact, Claudia Sheinbaum printed out the names of all the Gen Z influencers like yourselves who were encouraging people to come out and protest, which is like putting a list out for the cartels. So tell me, do the young people like you want the help from President Trump's administration and from our military?
The Generation Z want peace. We don't care if that peace come with American flag in the left arm or the right arm. We don't care. We want peace. The situation we're living in Mexico is crazy. It's crazy, and we have a president who prefers to talk about influencers and content creators instead of fixing the real problem,
which is the cartels.
Leo said, which is the cartels.
Last word,
we don't know what the problem is. We all know it. But
you know that
she
the
prefers
problem
to look the other way.
Correct. Last word, Leo. Do the Mexican people, does Generation Z Mexicans want President Trump to eradicate the cartels, even if that includes military work, military actions?
I think that's a great question, Rachel. And I think this question works for every single country that is facing such a big and important problem, such as in Mexico. When the Mexican people is in these conditions, when the Mexican people is desperate, as Nacho said, we don't care if it's Russia. We don't care if it's Russia. We don't care if it's the United States. We just want collaboration. We just want collaboration to end this problem for once and for all. We want peace for the Mexican people. We want growth for the Mexican people. We want the future Mexican kids to be in a state of peace, not in a state of war and in a state of insecurity. We don't want it anymore.
Yeah. Well, you are our neighbors, our biggest trading partners. What happens in Mexico should matter to our entire hemisphere, and especially the United States.
My man, welcome to the chat. And you know what? I am actually very proud of these young adults. They got their heads on straight. This is crazy, right? America first, people. Okay, here we go. America first. You see the problems that happen in other countries besides. Mr. Official, how are you? Economies collapse. It doesn't matter what system. I think capitalism has been proven to be the best sort of system. It keeps encouraging people to work harder, to make investments. If they want money, they can go and invest and work hard for it. Hustle, do whatever they got to do. I only believe that you can do whatever you want to do as long as it's legal. It's all about legal. And when you hear this, the Mexican outcry, President Donald Trump offered to help them with the cartel, and a lot of Mexicans on the left, of course the left, why not? Of course the left. They said, no, we don't want gringos in Mexico. And well, their people are dying by the thousands. That's not reported on CNN or anywhere else. They don't care because their leftist governments throughout the world are the ones failing over and over and over. Let's see, who do we got here? What, Mr. Poet, peace and unafraid. Dirty Money Man, good to see you, bro. Ken, welcome. Good evening. Go Generation Z. Marcelino knows what they're talking about. I mean, you know what? At least they're stepping up, right? They're doing what they need to do. I find it very interesting that people, even, it doesn't matter how many times we show people the truth about what's happening, they still deny that what we are doing, it's the right thing in this country. I used to try to make sure that everybody can come in here and, that we can have communication back and forth. And then I realized that a lot of people just come in here and start throwing insults. This is why you guys see a lot more wrenches on the chat. Because people come in here not to debate, not to be able to, give information and exchange information, but they come in here literally, cussing at us, insulting us right away. And those kind of people I don't want in my chat, okay? I want people that have an argument. Even though Heath is one of our patriots and he's one of my native brothers, has good questions. We have, first of all, you say hello to me and then we go from there. You don't come into my chat, my channel, and start insulting me off the bat. So Darius gets kicked out a lot because of his little pedophile comments that he makes on there, and I'm not going to tolerate that. Okay? I don't tolerate that. If you want to make your voice heard, make a comment in here and, just say what you got to say, but you got to stop coming in here and start throwing insults. Simple as that. So if you respect my chat, I appreciate you, and thank you for being here. All right, let me read some more comments here. It says, Dirty Money says, Darius, that 60-second timeout was a warning. Well, I just gave him 30 minutes, Dirty, so don't worry about that. Raj Babe says, Mr. Head, there's no evidence, so stop spreading your propaganda. What, Mr. Head? Where's Mr. Head? Okay, he's probably got kicked already. Let's see. Lord protect these two men. Their life is probably, as we speak, in jeopardy. Yeah, man. That's no doubt, Heath. The last person that spoke and tried to fight against the cartels and stuff, well, that's why they're protesting now against the government, because the cartel took them out. Hoop said they should get help with someone, but not with the U.S. Well, we are their neighbors, my friend. And as I say before, America first. I think people don't understand what America first means. El Chingon, Dennis, hello, sir. First time here. Welcome, El Chingon. They called me El Más Chingon. So don't you forget it. That was my gamer tag 30 years ago, okay? El Más Chingon, that was my gamer tag. And I started playing with Xbox. I think it was the first time that I put that on. Let's see here. What do we got? What else do we have in here? Yvonne? They hate to address immigration reform because the amount of corruption in ICE and Border Patrol and handlers is horrific. I will probably disagree 95% with that, but I will not deny that there is some people out there, right? I will say this. Don't ever trust the government 100%. Not ever. I trust President Trump as much as I can see that he's doing something for a country. Okay? Do I believe he's perfect? Of course not. Am I perfect? Of course not. This is why you should never trust me 100% either. because I have flaws and I can make mistakes. And that's what we got to keep in mind as patriots, that nobody's going to be perfect. We're not going to be able, you got it, Dirty Money. You got to be able to understand that some people mean well, and sometimes that doesn't work. So you got to change tactics. Now, I got 3 different subjects that we're going to talk about. America first, why are we deporting so many illegal immigrants, and why is socialism so destructive? So we can go back and forth between those 3 subjects. I'm okay with that. No problem. As you guys know, people come in here for a little bit, they leave, new people come in, they miss the first question, they miss the first argument, or whatever. So we got to be able to repeat things and quite a bit. Now, if they come in and they miss the clips that I am playing for them so that they can see where I'm getting my opinions from, that's on them. Once I show you a clip, it's gone. It's deleted. I don't see it anymore, okay? Hoop Queen says, I am Mexican-American, but to avoid conflict between both, it's better for the U.S. not to get involved. Well, the problem with it, Hoop, is that if we don't get involved, it will come to us. It will eventually become our problem. So in order to put America first, we need to be able to offer these other countries a way to collaborate with us, so to speak. You know, and I mean, we're going to respect their law. We're going to respect their calls. But they would have the manpower. They will have the soldiers. They will, you know what I'm saying? And you already know, war is not what it used to be. We have a lot of aerial support, a lot. And you have seen the history up in the Middle East and all these other countries. You've seen over 18 boats in the ocean being blown up while they're going ahead, full speed ahead. There's nowhere to run. Venezuela's dictator, Nicolás Maduro, doesn't know where to hide because he knows that Osama bin Laden was found. He knows that all the rats that hide in the rat holes are all going to be found out. And now we got bunker busters. They don't want to mess with us. And so once we free Venezuela from their dictator and the corrupted military that they have, I believe that Venezuelans will be allowed to have a great government, that they will be prosperous again. They will not be wasting funds like the socialists do. Socialists think that everybody should, give their hard-earned money to somebody else that doesn't work and that's lazy, and they think that's okay. Well, the economy doesn't work that way. Everybody has to have an incentive to get to work, to make money, to be able to give back to the country. Otherwise, we're just going to fail economically. So when it comes to Mexico, Mexico is a great country. I think Mexico is beautiful. The Mexican people are beautiful. There's a lot of great things in Mexico. If Mexico learned to keep Mexico safe, tourism will just be overwhelmingly popular in Mexico, and that brings a lot of money to the local people, and in turn brings a lot of revenue and taxes for the whole government to disperse amongst the country's needs. For example, creating hospitals, right? Buying medicines, fixing infrastructure, etc. I mean, that's how it's supposed to be about. But if they don't allow us to help, if they don't allow us to get involved, I mean, this is good for them. That this means that they will lose less Mexican lives fighting the cartel. But they don't want to. We already know why, right? Or at least it just seems that way. Now, we're not going to call it 100% that, but that's kind of what we're leaning into, that, they are wanting to protect the cartels. And I think that that's one of the biggest problems that we have today. So America first, absolutely, but sometimes we need to leave the country. One of the things that I am against Marjorie Taylor Greene, and it's just my observation, guys. Let me tell you something. Number one, you can have a problem with your spouse. You can have, the biggest arguments with your spouse, and it can be a bad thing. It can be a bad thing, right? But it's not really a big problem until, God bless you, until you make it public. That's Marjorie Greene Taylor's biggest mistake and the reason why Trump calls her a traitor. She says, oh, I mean, well, I have my own opinion. Keep that opinion to yourself, because the moment that you make it public, you have to understand. The other side is waiting for a weak moment to attack. You got to be smarter than that. That's why I don't support her at all. At all. She came in being courageous and engaging and fighting hard for the people. And now she's fighting more for her image. Her opinion is more important than the people. She goes to the Democrat side and she goes and she talks bad about Republicans. She goes to The View, talks bad about Republicans. The View is up there, yummy. Give us some more gossip. Yeah, we hate Republicans. It is stupid. It is ignorant. And I think that she made a big mistake, and she continues to make a big mistake. Let me jump in here and see if I can find. She had an interview with CNN. I got to find it. Give me a second. I'm going to play this, and I'm going to criticize it. Now, I got a lot of stuff that we have to cover, and it's going to be a while, but I think it's worth it. Where are you? I'm going to criticize her just on what I see myself. All right. Here we go. Let's go ahead and take a listen.
Political breakup heard round the world. President Trump severing ties.
Now, mind you, listen to the way that she talks. They want as much dirt, as much gossip as they can get on the opposite side. We already know that CNN doesn't like us, right? CNN doesn't like the president, doesn't like the administration. They don't care. They hate us, period. Okay? Why would she go on that network and talk bad about the Republican Party, which she belongs to? This is why they call her a traitor. Listen, we can have all the family arguments that you want. We're a family. We're going to fight amongst each other. But the moment that we allow that to go outside of the circle of the family, that's when we make a mistake. That's what's not supposed to happen. If you belong to your party, hey, listen, this is what I got an issue with. Work it, fight it, stay within the circle, fight it, see what you can do. Hey, listen, I'm not going to CNN. Hey, I'm not going on The View. I'm not going on Fox talking bad about us. Mr. President, I respect you. No, you don't. Because you let your opinion go out in public. And once you make it public, you're giving the opposition ammunition to go not just against President Trump, but against the administration. Your insecurities, your opinions are not facts. What you want to hear is not what's being done. And I get that. But the moment that you go out in public and you do stupid interviews like this, that's what makes you a traitor. Because you know what? You cannot take it back. And these people are going to smear the President Donald Trump in every single thing that they can. Right now, this has nothing to do with the Epstein files, and that's not why President Trump is pissed. It has everything to do that she's using all her emotions and feelings to make decisions and accusations and no common sense. Like the one stupid comment that she makes on here is what I told you. The president needs to go out and provide for our country's future. We need to have somebody that goes out, make agreements, deals, talk to presidents, and this is what the president is supposed to do. Now, her job in Congress, the Senate, they're the ones that are supposed to be fighting here locally. We have an FBI, we have DOJ, we have different departments that can take care of what's going on here locally. We got military outside and inside. We have so many things going on right now the stupidity of Marjorie Greene Taylor. She doesn't get it. I don't think that blonde hair is fake anymore. She has gone from being a hero fighting for the small businesses and for the people to now just, I think she doesn't believe. I think. That's not a fact. And the moment that you go out and throw it out there in public, you're smearing your own Republican Party. She blamed the whole Republican Party on many, many different interviews and kind of kept herself clean. Well, I told them, guys, I don't do that. I told them. That's your party. You're still responsible. You are still guilty with everything that they do. So you shut your mouth, fix the problem, and then talk about it. She messed up, and she is a traitor. Not to the country, to the party, to the people that trusted her with information, that trusted that she was being part of the system that is trying to make this country better. That's just what I'm thinking, okay? Let's go ahead and take a listen.
Eyes with at least one of his closest allies, declaring, "I am withdrawing my support and endorsement of Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene."
Sounds like it,
even
man.
calling for primary challenges against his one-time loyalists and attacking her as, quote, wacky, a ranting lunatic, a rhino, and a traitor.
She's a rhino.
This is days before
Can't
the
say
House
it.
of Representatives is set to vote on releasing the Epstein files. It's a stunning breach between two MAGA leaders, one of whom is here with me now exclusively for her first interview since the president cut ties. Republican Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene of Georgia, thank you so much for being here. As you just heard, and I know you saw, the president says he's withdrawing support for you, encouraging primary challengers. You were one of his biggest supporters. What do you think happened here?
Well, Dana, thank you for having me on, and that is true. I stood with President Trump when virtually no one else did. Campaigned all over the country, spent millions of my own dollars helping him get elected, and I think that's incredibly important. And I do support him and his administration, and I support them in delivering the campaign promises we made to the American people. His remarks, of course, have been hurtful. However, I have something in my heart that I think is incredibly important for our country.
Here we go.
And that is to end the toxic fighting in politics. And this has been going on for years, and it has divided our country, split up friends and families, neighbors, and it's not solving our problems.
So I want you to pay attention to this. Remember what I told you. It is a big difference from the Marjorie Greene that I remember when she first came out. She was a fighter for the people. Listen to exactly what I'm hearing, okay? This is just my opinion. This is what I'm hearing. So I remember her. Of course, she supported President Trump. Of course, she spent money. Of course, she helped him, win in the campaign. Great. Awesome. You started great. Fantastic. But listen to the way that she's going to try to put everything on now. She is making herself sound like she's this righteous. She is fighting for the people. The biggest mistake that she's making right now is not realizing something that she already knew. Our democracy. Welcome to the Dennis Herrera Show. It is my opinion, my friend. All right? So if you don't have anything nice to say, just don't say anything at all. Okay? Remember what Mommy said. If you have one that taught you something good. She knows that the leftists, of course, our Democratic Party is gone. We know that. That's why we're here today. Our Democratic Party is destroyed. We are aware. But this is the problem. She knew that the Democrats, and she knows that the Democrats are destroying our country with their own corrupted agenda, with their own illegal immigrants before Americans, with their own agenda to help other countries around the world except Americans. She knows that they have been lying about everything from Russia collusion to everything. And yet, she comes in here and says this as if Republicans are causing that problem. After we see Republicans voting for the American people, after we see Republicans are actually putting Americans first, after we see Republicans saying, listen, we don't want our taxpayers' money to go to illegal immigrants. We want it to go to our Americans, to the citizens. What's wrong with that? What's wrong with it? And this is why she's a traitor. Because the Democrats have never acknowledged that they have been destroying our country. This woman right here on the left does not like Trump and does not like anybody that supports him. She is against us, American patriots. Now, if you didn't know, this is a channel for MAGA and America First patriots. If you don't like what we say, you're more than welcome to get the hell off our chat. But I want you to understand why she is a traitor and she's acting like a traitor. She practically just said that we have been dividing our country when we know it's not true.
The most hurtful thing he said, which is absolutely untrue, is he called me a traitor. And
oh no, her feelings are hurt because she was called traitor. Oh wow, that's why, huh? Emotions, feelings.
that is so extremely wrong. And those are the types of words used that can radicalize people against me and put my life in danger.
What do you think happened? What do you think is the reason for this?
Unfortunately, it has all come down to the Epstein files, and that is shocking. And, you know, I stand with these women. I stand with rape victims. I stand with children who are in terrible sex abuse
Thank you, Niels.
situations. And I stand with survivors of trafficking and those that are trapped in sex trafficking. And I will not apologize for that. I believe the country deserves transparency in these files. And I don't believe that rich, powerful people should be protected if they have done anything wrong. And so I'm standing with the women, and I will continue to do my small part to get the files released.
You said on X yesterday, quote, "It's astonishing really how hard he's fighting to stop the Epstein files from coming out." And that.
So you see what I'm saying? The CNN loves this kind of food. That she's trying to fight the files from coming out. Number one, guys, I've said it many times, man. The Epstein files is not really important, man. You know, I cannot believe that that's a lot of Republican conservatives. I can understand the idiots on the left wanting to push for the files because they don't care about our country anyway, right? They just care that they have any type of dirt on the orange man. That's all they care about. It doesn't matter who suffers, who dies. They don't care about what destructs what, how this country goes down the drain. They just care about hating the orange man. And I think that's a problem. That should not be priority. Now the files are going to come out. I agree, all of it, 100%. I want no names deducted from the documents. But the one thing that pisses me off about the leftists when it comes to the Epstein file is if the victims come out and say, President Trump had nothing to do with it, that's not enough. Epstein got killed. They say he committed suicide. I don't believe it. Maxwell said Trump has nothing to do with it, and neither Clinton. I don't believe it because he said Clinton, but there could be. It could be true. That's not enough. That is not enough for Democrats. You know why? Because Trump is not getting convicted of anything. Because they don't care that Clinton must have murdered 100,000 people. They don't care about that. They don't care that the Clintons were doing a scam and all this stuff. They don't care about that. They don't care about Letitia James and her corruption with the real estate. They don't care about Swalwell sleeping with a Chinese spy. They don't care that he's corrupted as well in real estate issues. Shift to shift, same thing. They don't care that Newscom is over there giving billions of American dollars to illegal and undocumented migrants. They don't care about those things. So tell me, what the hell do they care about besides hating Orange Man? I have a big problem with that. Marjorie Greene is not innocent, and she is after something. Either she's working with President Trump to deceive the Democrats, or she really is stupid and she doesn't realize what she's doing. She's acting like a traitor by going to these leftist channels, legacy medias, and going and talking bad about Trump and how hurtful he is and how bad it is. And she thinks that she's just right. That's not how it works.
It really makes you wonder what is in those files. Are you suggesting there's something in the Epstein files that President Trump does not want Americans to see?
She can't say that.
Well, I think that's the part that has so many people confused, is that the women themselves that I have talked to have over and over again said that Donald Trump did nothing wrong. Quite a few of them even told me they voted for him.
There you go.
And those are the women I would like to see in the Oval Office with support. I would like to see all of the women there with support. I have no idea what's in the files. I can't even guess, but that is the questions everyone is asking, is why fight this so hard?
Well, before this blow-up, you sort of alluded to this just now. You said you were confident the president wouldn't be implicated. Are you still confident of that?
I'm listening to the women. Those are the ones that are saying.
Design Traveler, what the hell do you mean great hope for the future? Your party has been destroying this country. What hope? Hope of what? Destroying America? Where are you at with that? Tell me, what great things has your party been doing for the well-being of the American people? Give me one thing that the Democrats have done that has helped this country become great today. I'm curious. Go ahead, Traveler. No person should ever be loyal to a politician, but you are. They should be loyal to their own conscience. Do you have a conscience? Do you use common sense? Or do you calculate your decisions on emotions and feelings? Tell me one thing that you and your party have done. Because if you think that way, you're not a Republican, you're not a conservative, you're not even a patriot. Tell me one thing that you guys have done to make this country great. I need to learn something. We are not separating families. We're deporting them together. That's the way it should be. The ones that separate families are those who support illegal immigration. That's who separates families. You know, if the families don't come here illegally, they never get separated. They stay together in their country. The moment they decide to come here illegally, they made the decision to be separated. I want to wait for the traveler to give me one thing. 15 million jobs added to the economy. Interesting. If that is true, why do the left keep complaining about the unemployment disaster that we have today? 15.5 million jobs, you say, that the Democrats added. Well, number one is bullshit, but let's just say it's true. Why are they complaining about that? Design says, I don't think you're interested in learning, but instead interested in winning. Yes, we want to win, of course, but that's not an answer. What great thing have Democrats done to make this country great? I know there's a little delay, but I'll wait. The sheepless believe MSNBC, ABC, and CNN, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Edward Russell says, hi, first-time viewer. I love this chat. You are very... thanks, Edward. Not the wisest, but I try to use common sense. Thank you for the compliment. I appreciate it. I just want one thing. As I said, if she didn't go public to the leftist media, I'm okay with her fighting in the hearings, fighting in Congress, talking with colleagues and all this other stuff. That's fine. But her going to this leftist media, guys, it's not a coincidence. You pay attention to where she's been. She's been to The View. She's been to CNN. She's been to MSNBC. She's been to all this leftist media that hate Donald Trump, and therefore they hate us because we support him. Why would she go there? Design, your idea of great and my idea of great are two. That's not an answer. Okay, you're not going to answer. Let's go ahead and continue listening.
That he did nothing wrong. Virginia Giuffre even said under oath that Donald Trump did nothing wrong, and she wrote it in her book. So I'm continuing to listening to the women, and I think their voices should be the loudest.
The president said the reason that you...
So you see that, right? All the witnesses have said that he did nothing wrong. That's not enough. But the problem is her coming in here, giving bits of truth and then bits of deceit, of deceitfulness. That's not good. It does not help the cause, unless she's working with Trump and they're just trying to set somebody up.
Have been critical of him is not necessarily Epstein, but because he pushed you not to run for the Senate or for governor in Georgia. How and when did he do that?
Well, that is absolutely...
David, that is actually a good point, but let's remind you that those big infrastructure jobs are costing the taxpayers a lot of money. That is not something that made America great. A lot of companies have left big cities because of the regulations and taxing, and they have gone to cheaper states. That is not something that Democrats have done great for this country, my friend. All this stuff that's happened over here, busted with the drug cartels and all this stuff, the government here takes credit for that. But it was the FBI. It was Kash Patel that came here and took care of that with Pam Bondi. Yet the local government takes credit for it, like they're supporting the federal government. Bullcrap. They fight the federal government every step of the way, but you know what? They're still getting things done. So no, that's not a fact.
Not true. Actually, I never had a conversation at all with the president about running for Senate or running for Georgia. And those were decisions I came to on my own that I don't want to have anything to do with the Senate. I think the past 2 months of the government shutdown should have shown America exactly why I would never want to be there. I think it's a very broken institution that serves the uniparty. And
no, Marjorie, you should have fought harder. You should have fought harder to make common sense amongst your colleagues against the enemy on the other side that don't care about the United States of America. See, I don't take excuses. You got to stand up. You got to fight. That's why you're in office. That's why you're in Congress. You fight that in Congress. You don't go to the legacy media like a little rat and start making yourself look like a righteous person and give facts, because you can't make up stuff too much. But her idea of what she thinks and what she believes are two total different things. David Johnson, fixing roads and bridges, hospitals is no big deal. Let me tell you why. Hundreds of billions of dollars are gone, and the bridges that they started building, they are not done. They started building bridges over here in Washington State. We don't need it. There's a great bridge that connects the island with the main Seattle. They built another bridge for nothing, and they couldn't even finish it. But hundreds of billions of dollars are gone, and they keep raising taxes on the people because they keep using and wasting all this taxpayers' money. This is why it's not true, David.
Doesn't serve the American people and how they vote. And I decided that I didn't want to run for governor this cycle either. I very much want to do the job that I'm in.
Yeah, let's not forget about the Green New Deal, whatever that thing that was. Wasted trillions of dollars. And you guys think that was great.
Everyone else says I'm running for something, but all I want to do is serve Georgia's 14th district. And
big, beautiful
I'm very
bill,
grateful for that opportunity.
So
the big, beautiful bill has given us power and strength in our military. It has kicked a lot of illegal immigrants off of our health care that shouldn't be there. It doesn't benefit illegal immigrants. All the other lies that you've been told about veterans is bull crap. That's from your last administration. We're still trying to fix those mistakes. President Donald Trump just cut half of the weight from the previous Biden administration. You guys think that he just came in here and everything was great. Nah, man. The inflation was getting horrible. Are prices higher? Of course. Taxes are going up every 6 months to a year. You guys don't take that into consideration, do you? You got to look at all points of views, man. You can't just look at one side of the story. You got to see why this happens. Why do you have to give tax cuts to the rich? Because they're business owners. It's not because they have a lot of money. No, they're business owners that provide thousands of employment. It's not just because they're rich and they can do whatever. No, it's not just that. Their money, they pay. The rich pay 70% plus more taxes. Out of all the taxes that gets collected in the United States, the rich pay 70% or more. What else do you want? Why don't you become rich? Why don't you go work your ass off? Why don't you go over there and make the investments, make the sacrifices? Why don't you go see if you can make a business that will be beneficial to your community? Instead of playing the stupid socialist card, you got to look into it. How are you going to say that rich men don't deserve a tax cut when they have been paying a lot of tax? It doesn't matter how much they have. That's your jealousy. That's your envy. That's your sinful, prideful nature. But that's not how it works. You have the same access that they do. If I wanted to be rich, I would, but I don't care. See, you guys complain about them being rich. I don't complain about them being rich. Thank you for stopping by, Ken. This is my channel. Get the hell off my channel. Don't come back. Cool Cat Renee, welcome, my friend. I always like it when you are here. If you were born rich like the majority, you will still be broke because your mind is not set right. That's the big difference. If you want to be rich, the opportunity is there, is what I'm saying. The opportunity is there. But if you don't want to go after the opportunity, stop whining and complaining and blaming the rich and successful because you're broke. That's all I'm saying. If you complain that they're rich and that's the problem, well, when you go become rich, go do the investments. Go stress. Go work 7 days a week nonstop. Go lose your marriage. Go lose your family so that you can become rich. And then you can go ahead and give yourself 90% of your income you can pay in taxes and help the socialist people. Go do it. Do it. Right. Okay. Right. Yeah, you know, parents that are responsible, that are hard workers, that invest, that save money and everything, they all have those loser kids that don't want to do anything with their life. Kind of like Hunter Biden. He decided to go do drugs and all this stupid shit that he's doing, while President Trump kids are doing what? Business, making money, taking advantage of their skills. While Hunter Biden was over there using his daddy's name to get lawyers fired in Ukraine because they were investigating the company that was paying Hunter Biden millions of dollars. You guys don't talk about that. Pay attention. You got Hunter Biden over there. How the hell do people even think on the left that Hunter Biden has a chance to become a president of the United States of America when the guy has no brains? The guy is dumber than his dad. President Biden has a whole history, his whole career of being racist, being against minorities, and yet people still supported him. He got more votes than Obama did. Is that right? Yeah, I don't believe that bull crap. The man that campaigned 2 days out of this whole campaign. Campaigned from the basement of his house. He is the guy that everybody loves. But the one guy that went out there every single day and went from here to there, wasted all this time for no sleeping at all, he loses. That makes no sense, does it? It makes no sense. I know my patriots agree with me. I know. I know. That's because you guys have common sense. All right, let's continue listening to this traitor. She can't lie about some things. And Epstein files, she knows that he's not in there. But the fact that she's saying that President Trump is sweating it like there's something to hide, that tells me that what she just said about the victims, she doesn't believe them. She just contradicted herself on that statement.
He said it pretty explicitly. Are you saying he's lying? Or did he at least get that message to somebody on your political team instead?
Berniel, good evening, my friend. Thank you for joining me on this Sunday overtime. For those of you that says that I don't have a job, this is my job. Whether you like me or not, it has no relevance to why I do it. I do it because I love to do it and because I love to share my time with my patriots. Plus, my wife said that I could do it.
I'm not sure. But I don't. That is untrue. What he said. I don't know if he's being fed wrong information. I honestly have no idea in that area, but it is absolutely factually not true. Nor have I called him, and White House logs would prove that. His own cell phone records would prove it. I have not been calling the president, but I did post messages that I had sent to him, and
but pay attention to this post. Watch this.
That was to protect, get involved. This is important. The American people want the Epstein files released. And, I've stood with the president. I have disagreed with him at times, Dana, and I'm allowed to do that. I think that's the most important thing we can do as Americans. And I'm urging my party. I've been putting massive pressure on my party and our speaker.
Hey, Berniel, I almost have your haircut. What do you think? What do you think about the... Yeah, some people don't like it, but it's tough. Just trying to look a little bit more like Berniel's business look. I had to show you guys that. I had to show you that.
To pass the agenda that the American people vote for. That's the agenda that I fought for. Those are the campaign promises I made. And I can disagree with the president at times, particularly this past Monday on the Marines' 250th anniversary, when he honored the new Syrian president, who is an al-Qaeda terrorist and was wanted by our government for years with a $10 million bounty up until March of this year. I very much am against that. I think that was very hurtful to the great men and women who served over in the Middle East and were sent there, and many of them that were killed and injured and live with PTSD to this day from fighting al-Qaeda. So there's things I disagree with, and I'm allowed to do so.
Well, you mentioned the Syrian leader at the White House. You've also been critical of President Trump over foreign entanglements, H-1B visas. Now he's moving military assets towards Venezuela. I do want to play something that he said this week.
The last Catracho Mojica. The last Mayan. Yeah, the last Mayan of the the last Mayan from the 1500s greatness of the Indians.
Don't forget, MAGA was my idea. MAGA was nobody else's idea.
All right, guys, I'm gonna disagree with President Trump in here, okay? Now, you guys can hate me for this, but MAGA was not his idea. What he thinks MAGA should be, that is his idea. But Make America Great Again, that he got from President Ronald Reagan. That's what I remember. But the movement that we have, yeah, okay, that is his idea. But the slogan, Make America Great Again, that is President Ronald Reagan's slogan. And that's why he grabbed it, because he now looks up to him.
I know what MAGA wants better than anybody else. And MAGA wants to see our country thrive.
That's
Do you
right.
agree? Do you think he represents the MAGA movement as he once did?
Watch.
Well, what the American people voted for with MAGA was to put the American people first and stop sending foreign aid and stop being involved in foreign wars. They very much deserve to be put first. Cost of living is far too high. Health insurance is completely out of control. And those are two issues I have been very...
And why? Because of Democrats. Not President Donald Trump, not the tariffs that everybody wishes it was. That's my issue with her. She knew that these issues were happening with the Democrats in power. And now she's bringing all these issues like President Trump created them.
Very vocal on for months and months now, long before Republicans were shocked when those big losses came on this past Tuesday's election. So I think that the American people deserve to be put first. That's what Make America Great Again meant to me.
Okay, Marjorie. Listen, if you guys want America first, here's how it goes. The world was laughing at us. The world was laughing at us. We were the laughing stock of the world. That's not enough. Who cares, right? Who cares? China has been stealing trillions of dollars from us. Not literally stealing, but taking advantage of our stupidity from previous government. Okay. China made so much money from the United States taxpayers' money that they build infrastructures. Look it up. Look it up. They build infrastructures just because they had money coming in. We are no longer the laughing stock of the world. They can laugh, but they know not to mess with us. Cutting Edge, thanks for the super chat, brother. The healthcare is from the Democrats. The MAGA movement don't care about that. She sounds like Bernie. I'm telling you, man, and people don't see that, right? But you remember how she was at first. It's like she has been, it's like Mark said, right? Mark said, if you repeat a lie, no, it's Stallman. One of these idiots said this. If you repeat a lie long enough, they will start believing it. And so they want you to keep hearing this lie. And, well, it looks like Marjorie just bit into it. She's not fighting and saying, listen, the Democrats have a horrible Obamacare. Their health care has been giving millions of dollars to health companies, to health insurance companies, and all these, these big pharma companies. And every year it keeps increasing and increasing and increasing. And you will notice that a lot of companies that provide health insurance for employees, they have no choice but to charge more. They pay more, you pay more, and every year it keeps going up. Now, what do the insurances do? The insurances say, they do something like this. You go and you get medicine that costs $800 a pill. For example, you go in and you pay your copay, $20 to $50, whatever it is for you. And then the insurance says, damn, $800, good Lord. You know what? And they pay it. But what happens with that payment? Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. But what happens with that payment? The next time, when it comes time to renegotiate prices, the insurance goes up. And that's how that works. We all know, thank you, Rush, we all know that if you go to the hospital and pay cash, you pay for your bill. How much is it? $400. Okay, here we go. Boom. $800. If you go and pay with insurance, it's now $1,200. So the insurance companies, they have to pay that extra. And the reason why the hospitals and the clinics and all these other people charge more is because that's how they get the money. I think I've read a document so that you guys can understand that better, verbatim of how they do it. Still people don't understand, they don't believe it, that's fine. But the fact of the matter is that they have been robbing the American people's money through a very failed healthcare system that the Democrats put in place. That's why I agree with President Trump. Don't support it. Republicans, stand your ground. Fight it. Be smart. know how to bring things up. Why is it that a regular Joe like me can come up with some common sense information and tell you, but these guys who are supposed to be lawmakers, they're supposed to be very smart people, they do a lot of reading and a lot of research, how come they cannot figure that out? So here we go. I want this, any Democrat that is in here, tell me one thing that President Donald Trump has done to help us with the healthcare system and the prices of drugs. Just one thing. Let's see. A lot of you people tell me that he has made no deals, no agreements. He hasn't done anything to help us. So I want you to tell me just one thing that President Trump has done to bring healthcare costs down. I already gave you the answer, I think, but let's see if you guys are smart enough to figure it out. Let's see, design. You never answered my question, so your comment is ignored. Very ridiculous, Terry. Absolutely. Bruce says Donald Trump has done nothing. Big Pharma. What happened? What agreement, what deal did President Donald Trump just do in this last recent month? Go ahead, Patriots. You can answer. Scott Byrne, how are you, my friend? Welcome to our crazy chat. Go ahead. Let's see. Your people are being treated like animals. Shame on you. What people? Illegal immigrants are not my people. People that respect the law, that's my people. Anybody else that breaks the law, they're criminals. They got to go. They got to go. Now, design, I gave you like 5 different chances. Your comments are irrelevant. David has actually gave me some answers. I disagree, but he has given me some answers, and maybe they are true. Maybe. Americans are the largest consumers on the planet by far. Well, we're 1/3 of the market, right? So that is true. All right, Bruce. We just signed an agreement with Big Pharma, one of the big guns from Big Pharma. Prescription drugs have gone down, some up to 8,000%, my friend. That's what he has done. That's what he has done. So if you don't believe me, go find out and do a little research for yourselves and then come back on the chat and say, oh, that's wrong, Dennis. It was only 5,000%. You can do that. Guys, every information that I give you, my opinion, take it with a grain of salt. Just a little pinch of salt. And do some extra research. Go compare it and find out if everything I say is wrong. If I've been telling you the truth, hey, by all means, come back and tell me. See what's up. Let's see. Official says, bro, I was paying $80 for my insulin. I picked my medicine last week. I paid $0. That's what I'm talking about. That's 100% discount right there. Yeah, these guys don't get it, man. And they start blaming tariffs. Oh, my God, tariffs. They're so horrible. What is President Donald Trump trying to do right now? Right? What is President Donald Trump trying to do right now? He wants you. He wants us to get that money so that we can choose who we want our provider to be, who is going to look at us. Think about that. Like that's awesome. I think that's a great idea. Cut cost on drugs by 1,000%. You see what I'm saying? David at least put something in there on both sides. That's why David doesn't get kicked too much. But he still gets kicked sometimes. But that's exactly right, man. And I mean, guys, maybe the percentage, I'm exaggerating. Maybe I'm a little off on the numbers, but, you know, there you go. Yeah, he cut price on medications big time. No, Art, go look it up. Go look it up and see what was the name of the company. Was it Pfizer? No, I don't remember if it was Pfizer. But it was one of those. Yeah. David Gambler says my insulin was $480 a month. Now it's $60 for 3 months. Man. And you see, that's got it, guys. That helps, man. 1,000% cheaper, guys. The people were taking advantage of us. Democrats were not doing anything to fix that. And let's not talk housing, pricing. Well, we're going to get there. We're going to get there and talk about why so many people are being deported and need to be deported. All right? Let's go ahead and continue reading here. Maybe 8,000 might not be true. That's what I went with. Maybe it's 800. That's horrible. That's horrible.
And I think that President Trump can do that if he refocuses his effort. And I think that's what I want to see. I think that's what the country wants to see. Even if he's attacking me, I do want him to be successful for the American people.
Oh, how humble.
Sounds like you're saying that he is not representing the MAGA movement that he started right now.
I can say that promoting H-1B visas to replace American jobs, bringing in 600,000 Chinese students to replace American students' opportunities in American colleges and universities, those are not America First positions. And
600 Chinese students. He said no. Remember this. President Trump said no more. And what did Democrats say? Oh, he is a racist. Oh, he's whatever phobic thing that they call him. They went off on President Trump because he canceled all that. And they were pissed off and, oh, how dare the orange man go blah, blah, blah against the Chinese. Oh, he's crazy, blah, blah, blah. And now we have what? He brings it back. And now he's the bad guy? Because of that? That's what Democrats allowed before. What's the difference? Why is she saying that that's not America First, but she didn't condemn it when the Democrats allowed that to happen? This is why we say she's a traitor. And maybe she doesn't understand what she's saying. But that's exactly what I see. That's exactly what I'm hearing. You remember for COVID-19, President Donald Trump says, oh, shut the border. No more people coming from China. Shut it. No more. Democrats went off the rails. And a lot of Republicans, oh, how dare he? Oh yeah, he's crazy. You guys are idiots. He was right. President Trump was right about everything. Thank you, Mr. Isaac, for the super chat. America First, the younger generation is moving on from MAGA. Thanks for your service, Trump. I will tell you the reason why the young generation is moving from MAGA. The young generation, and I'm not going to say all of them because I see a lot of great young people out there, a lot of young adults, 20s, 30s. They're actually trying their best. They're trying to make sense of things. But there is a lot of them out there that are lazy. They want free stuff. They don't want to believe in God because that allows them to be free to sin as much as they can. And as long as nobody's watching, in their mind, as long as nobody's watching, they can sin and be as immoral as possible. And they like that. Of course they like that. It's the flesh. We all like that. Except some of us fight against it. Right? Our new generation are dumber than a brick. In many ways. They are dumber in school. They learn less about civics. They know less about history. They don't even have to have a passing grade anymore. They just let them move up in the school. Not in my country. In Honduras, if you didn't pass first grade, you don't go to second grade. If you didn't pass second grade, you don't go to third grade. Here in America, it doesn't matter how much you flunk. You just go to the next grade and the next grade. And then once you go to the senior year in high school, then you get held back. Why? Why is that? Why is that? So we saw the biggest example. Socialism sounds like a great thing, especially for lazy people that want to get handouts all the time. You listen to these young adults out there, and they got this expensive iPhone, expensive Android phones, and all this stuff. And yet, they supported Mandani. Because I don't know what they're thinking. Are they thinking that Mandani is going to give them a bunch of free extra money? From where do you think that money comes from? He's asking for donations right now so that he can run a group of people to help him do his job. What happened to the free money? Yeah, $100 billion is the budget, I believe, from New York. Watch how fast that money is gone. And for all those stupid millionaires out there that they think that they're going to be able to support Mandani's vision, you are screwed. And if you haven't left already, that's on you. But I can't wait to see the news when you fail. I can just tell you that I do not believe in socialism could ever work. I believe that the people that work hard deserve their money. There is people that sacrifice so much, and I get it. You know what? A lot of times you're working 16 hours a day, and you still can't afford to pay all your bills. Guess who do you go and complain about? Your local government. Why are taxes so high? Because you have so many socialist groups that you have to support. Right now, they tax the rich. If you make $1 million or more, they tax you more. But then they're going to lower it to 900, and then they're going to lower it to 500. Before you know it, the middle class is gone. It's destroyed. You're either broke or you're rich. That's it. There's going to be two classes. Either you're going to be rich or you're going to be poor. That's never going to change. And we still haven't even touched the actual video for socialism against capitalism. But we will get there. Thank you for the super chat, Cutting Edge. I appreciate that. Dennis looks for Antonini is a Spanish man. He expressed exactly what happened on with the youth, all about this scam with feminism, ecologism, things, etc. Let me see. I think I actually had. Let me see if I still have it on here. Let me see if it's on here. Just so you guys know, some of the things that I look for, if you look at the titles up there on my web browser, I have the wealth tax. I got property tax, summaries for legislation. I look into all this stuff that I want to know. So if you guys are not looking into those things, I understand why you will be against me on that. Let me see. Where are you? I don't think I have that anymore, brother. But I think I did have something like that for you guys. Let me see if I have it in here. No, not yet. Let's see, Antonini. Well, I have a lot of things, brother, to show you. So we won't be able to get to that, but maybe we'll hit that up. If you can remind me, Cutting Edge, if you can remind me the next time, we'll look him up and we'll take a listen, see what's up, all right? Let's see if we can get through this video here because we still have other things to look at as well, okay?
Continuing to really travel all over the world doesn't help Americans back at home. I really, and I said this to him, and I will say it out loud, I would love to see.
Hold on, Miss Loudmouth. Vinny, that's 100% right, and that's how I feel about it. I think that billionaires are going to run out of money. I mean, when they run out of money, they're going to have to go somewhere else. It's very simple, just like that. This dork. What an amazing interview. Hopefully more will come around. It isn't game over yet. There is a chance to stop this. I already gone through the poor class. I only have one way to go, says Richard. They're going to find out the hard way, and that is the problem, man. That's the thing. I don't know, man. We're going to fight until we can't fight no more, right? And I think that's all we can do. Then hopefully we can make a difference. You know, hopefully we can continue to make this country prosperous. I support business owners. It's not easy, and it's not going to be any easier when they destroy your dreams. You will see why. We have a very special video of socialism versus capitalism. It is a long video, so let's get over this interview here real quick so we can get to the other information that I have to share
Air Force One be parked and stay home, and there be nothing but a constant focus in the White House on a domestic agenda that helps the American people once and for all.
Congresswoman, you posted on X that President Trump is, with his comments, fueling a, quote, hotbed of threats against you. Obviously, any threats to your safety are completely unacceptable. But we have seen these kinds of attacks or criticism from the president at other people. It's not new. And with respect, I haven't heard you speak out about it until it was directed at you.
Dana, I think that's fair criticism. And I would like to say humbly, I'm sorry for taking part in the toxic politics. It's very bad for our country. And it's been something I've thought about a lot, especially since Charlie Kirk was assassinated, is that I'm only responsible for myself and my own words and actions. And I am committed, and I've been working on this a lot lately, to put down the knives in politics. I really just want to see people be kind to one another, and we need to figure out a new path forward that is focused on the American people, because as Americans, no matter what side of the aisle we're on, we have far more in common than we have different.
Cutting edge. Sorry about that, brother. I overlooked at it. I was too busy with what we're trying to say. But you are the new stream boss, and we got to celebrate that. For all you leftist, Democrat, crazy people that don't like us, too bad. This is our beautiful POTUS doing a dance for us. The boss, el jefe, el patrón. The boss. Cutting edge is the boss. Let me see. I saw a question in here. Okay, Jorge Vallecillo says, Berniel, all billionaires should not exist as billionaires. Why not? There is no reason any billionaire shouldn't be taxed at 90%. Why not, Jorge? Why do you think that somebody else's sacrifice in their life, investments, and hard work and dedication should be given to everybody else? You should be allowed to be as rich as you want to, as long as you're being fair, right, to people that actually work for you. There is a minimum wage for a reason. Some companies actually pay very good money to their employees. Well, if they make more money, how is it going to be fair that they give the employees more money, but they're not giving me more money where I work? Why I got to make $20 an hour and you get to make $45 an hour? How is that fair? That's not right. So the other company has to give me $45 an hour as well, because you're making $45 an hour. And I don't care if that company goes out of business. I am entitled to having $45 an hour, just like you. It doesn't work that way. Let them become billionaires. Do you think that money runs out because there's more billionaires being born every day? No, it wouldn't. It would, it'd be like everybody becomes billionaires. But if the competition is not there, what do you expect? See, I believe that there should not be a monopoly. That I agree. In capitalism, monopoly to me, it's illegal. So I say this when I used to work for Comcast. Comcast is the number one provider here. Well, if somebody can challenge them and do better than them, by all means, you get to be the boss. But they don't, because they don't invest the billions of dollars that Comcast has invested on their cable system and their technology and all this other stuff. Now you got other companies that can run, but that's not how it works. If you don't want to compete because you can't, that's not the other person's fault. If they come in, like for example, I can tell you this. Okay, so if like farmers, if we have a farmer that is a small-size farmer, okay, and they can only provide so much for this town, and that's it. If the other company can provide for that town and many other towns at the same time, I'm so sorry to tell you, but you gotta go. That means you gotta find another business to stay afloat if you wanna keep using that as a business. That's where I'm at with that. Now, the socialists believe that there should be some sort of democracy in every employer's work of business. They believe that us as employees should be able to tell the owner of a company how to make a product, how to sell it, where to sell it, when to sell it, and for how much to sell it. The stupidest thing I've ever heard. Do you think that I want to create a company so that others tell me what to do? What is the incentive of you becoming your own boss? Well, the incentive is that you're not going to have a boss, that you're going to be the boss, and you're going to pay somebody a wage, which if they accept, then they should accept it and do a good job for that wage. If they don't like your wages that you're offering, then they can go somewhere else. And then if the company cannot afford to have any employees, if Americans don't want to work for this company, H-1B, H-1A visas can be available. If Americans don't want to do the work, H-1B visas for everybody. This is what he's talking about. And the other thing with H-1B visas is this. There is a lot of companies out there that are charging this visa workers that come over here. They charge them thousands and thousands of dollars fees, and they pay them less than what they would pay an actual American worker. For example, an engineer that is supposed to make $100,000 a year. These companies grab H-1B visa holders from India. They are also engineers, but they pay them $66,000 a year, which to Indians is a lot of money, right? But then they keep the other $34,000. That's how that works. And that's what President Trump does not want here. If the Americans don't want to work for what I call a fair wage, they don't have to work it. Go do your own business. Go find another company. But if no Americans want to do this type of work, the visa service that is available for foreigners to come and work here, why not give them the job? It makes sense to me. So either you're going to work for me for $20 an hour, or I'm going to have to find somebody else, a foreigner, that will work for $20 an hour. Thank you for the super chat, Cutting Edge. The Starbucks CEO was poor in the past. Look for his biography. Yes, that's 100%. I know his story. He became a billionaire by himself, working hard, and he also said that anybody can do it if they wanted to. Here in Seattle, Starbucks employees are on strike again. They want more money. And then I go to Starbucks and buy my coffee for $10. Unbelievable. They wonder why coffee prices are so high. It's not because the tariffs. It's not because of that. It's because of the taxes and because of the wages that they keep raising at work that shouldn't have high wages. If you're a barista, you depend on tips. Your wages are minimum wage. And if they raise the minimum wage, then they have to raise the price on the product. They want a union. Well, guess what's wrong with the union? Yeah, they fight for you. Yeah, they make deals for you. But what happens? Do you think that the union does that for free? No, the union makes a burden to companies, to business owners, because the union also has to get paid. And I made this example before. If you haven't been in my lives, in my chats before, you will know that I used to be in the union. Now, we will get paid about $16 an hour if you work for the company. Out of those $16 an hour that they pay you, they pay an extra $5 more to the union. So technically, they are paying $21 for that employee. I say we cut the union off, forget about the union, and let me have those extra $5 an hour, and then we'll deal with whatever happens next. If you demand too much from a business and they cannot afford you, they have to lay people off. If they cannot afford to pay somebody $30 an hour, half of the employees will get fired and the other half will get the $30. And if they don't meet quotas, they will also get fired. And then we're going to be using H-1B visas so that we can fulfill those positions. And we don't have to pay them that much. Isn't that wonderful? That's right. You pay union dues. At least Manuel is paying attention. All right, let's finish this up so we can start listening to the old folks about socialism and capitalism. You're gonna enjoy this.
Yeah. And we need to be able to respect each other with our disagreements.
So just to put a button on this, you regret the things that you have said and posted in the past, the Facebook post that was taken down of you in 2020 holding a gun alongside the squad, encouraging people to go on the offense against the socialists, liking a tweet of somebody calling for the execution of Nancy Pelosi and former President Obama. Just examples.
What now, Marjorie?
Well, Dana, as you know, and many people know, I addressed that back in 2021. And of course, I never want to cause any harm or anything bad for anyone. So that was addressed back then, and I very much stand by my words.
Now, she just said what she said about Donald Trump, right? And people because of him, blah, 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 saying this about her life has been threatened, blah, blah, blah. When this hypocrite, you just heard what she said, right? Oh, I addressed it back then. Well, you still did it. You still did it. You are not innocent at all. Oh, watch this.
Said then, and I stand by my words today. I think America needs to come together and end all the toxic, dangerous rhetoric and divide. And I'm leading the way with my own example, and I hope that President Trump can do the same.
Our hero. You see how she put that in there? Now she's the hero for the people. Now she's the hero for the people. Let me see. Art, I think you had a comment before. I think you asked a question. I missed it. What was it? Something about billionaires. Let me see if I can find your history comments. Blah, 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 blah. Let me see, brother. You've been with me for a while, so I'll give you a chance. Did you? I know he had a lot of Hispanics and blacks working for him, whether they were illegal or not. I don't know. I haven't heard of that. But with fake papers, anybody can fall into that, right? Let me see. There was something else you asked. I had very low premium, zero pays as a Teamster. Union dues were pennies. Not in my state. All right, I don't see the question, brother. Sorry about that. I tried. I know. It's hard to see all the comments that come in here without... Yeah, I apologize, brother. Sorry about that. But I think it was something, and this is a very common question. I think it was probably something about maybe rich people or billionaires cheat on their taxes. There is a loophole in the tax system, and this is what President Trump said to Hillary, right, when he beat her. If you think that's wrong, change it. And as long as it's there, well, they're going to keep using it. And I can tell you that they probably won't do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, they know they depend on billionaires. They know they depend on the rich people. They know that they got to have some sort of loophole so that they can save the money, so that they can continue to do business in here, because in one way or another, it is benefiting the American people. All right? All right, brother. Sorry about that, but thank you for understanding.
Okay, so on that, I do want to ask you about something you posted just yesterday on X. You questioned who and what country is putting so much pressure on Trump to keep the Epstein files hidden. And you included a picture about donations from pro-Israel lobbying group AIPAC.
Oh.
What are you trying to say there?
Yeah. What are you trying to say?
Well, I think it's the question that many Americans are asking, especially when we saw information recently come out in these emails that the Oversight Committee that I serve on has released. And we saw Jeffrey Epstein with ties to Ehud Barak. We saw him making business deals with them, also business deals that involved the Israeli government, and seems to have led into their intel agencies. And I think the right question is to ask is, was Jeffrey Epstein working for Israel? And I'm proud to say I don't take money from AIPAC. I don't take money from any special group of people. I'm just representing my district and the American people. And
Liberty for All, thank you for the super chat. This is more, meaning she's not the first two-faced snake that I have heard talking. I'm laughing my ass off over here. Man, but you know what, though, bro? When she came in, though, you know, like the first time when she came in, bro, I had a lot of hope. I love the way that she was fighting for us. And now she's like, she's trying to, like, wash her hands because she's giving up. She feels like she's not going to be able to stand against Democrats. And, you know, she's jumping ship. She's abandoning ship. She doesn't want to go down with the ship as she thinks. But what she doesn't know is that we believe that we're going to continue to sail on, and she's going to be left on a raft behind for some other fool to come and rescue her. But we are done with her unless she changes her ways.
And so that's what I was referring to.
I just want to be clear. Are you saying Israel is pushing the President of the United States to cover up the Epstein files? And what evidence do you have that that is the case?
No, I simply asked. No, I simply just asked out loud.
She asked out loud. She effed up. She effed up. And this is the exact point that I've been saying, guys. She needs to keep all this shit in private. Figure it out. You know what I'm saying? Work the angles. Fight it. Do this, do this, do this. The moment that you come out in public like this, you are putting all your cards out there, which is something that Trump doesn't. He likes to, you know, throw an insult here, throw an insult there, trying to trigger some people, but he knows exactly what he's doing. And I think it's crazy that she just said in that little message that she put out there, right? This is what everybody understood. And I'm glad that she actually questioned her on that. And she tries to play it back. And it's like, oh, shoot. No, that's not what I'm saying. That's why not this. No. So, no. One thing, guys, I support Israel 100%. Whether do I think that AIPAC is a good thing or not, I think that is worth it. Whether you want to believe theories of AIPAC, Russia collusion, you know, everybody, the Russians, you know, intervening in our elections, etc. That is up to you. But I will support who I support. You support who you support. All right. So you support illegal immigrants. Hey, that's you. But that's not my fault. I support Israel. That's on me. But that's God's people. That's God's chosen country. And we are going to protect them, and we're going to fight next to them. We have benefited with a lot of intel. They have helped us a lot throughout history. And we are not going to give up or turn our backs on our Jew brothers of Israel. Israel is in my heart until the day that I go meet the Lord face to face. Let's see. What do we got? Raj says, Art, she has bad gas. She attacked Trump is a huge mistake. Agreed. Tyler, how are you, brother? And that's right. That's right, baby. Israel, Holy Spirit over the United States and the world. I like it. That's the way I read it. That's the way I'm keeping it. That's the way I'm going to say it. Official is with me. God bless Israel. Let's go. All right, let's finish listening to this traitor here. I feel bad for her, but she has changed.
Is there a foreign government? It could.
Ferguson, number 1, Revelations 3:9. We are not Jews by blood. We are adopted. into the kingdom of God by the blood of Jesus Christ. I'll leave it there. We're not going to preach tonight.
Could be any foreign government, but is a foreign government pushing to keep this covered up? Because people just don't understand the big fight against.
Well, you had
releasing these
AIPAC
files.
up there. It was pretty clear which government you were talking about.
It was pretty clear. Look at her. Back it up.
That I'm questioning that government in particular and questioning any other foreign government.
Right.
Okay, when you're talking about lowering the rhetoric, which is important for everybody to hear from you and all of our elected officials, but there is some concern, a lot of concern among Republicans about the.
Just so you know, the Muslims stole that scripture, Revelations 3:9, and used it in their Quran. If you go read the Quran and find out what they say about Revelations 3:9, I will give you my answer. I know what it means, but it's not what you think.
Rise of anti-Semitic hard-right figures in your movement, especially after Tucker Carlson hosted white nationalist Nick Fuentes on his podcast, didn't question Fuentes about his vile language or views.
Yep.
You did speak at a conference hosted by Fuentes back in 2022. You were criticized, and you said then that you didn't
Watch her lie right here.
know about his views. Well, Fuentes talked to Carlson about that in the interview. Listen to what he said.
Well, again, with Marjorie, I was a friend of hers, and she spoke at my conference, and then the day after, she pretended like she didn't know me. She pretended like she didn't know me and lied and said I had no idea the conference I was speaking at. She knew exactly what it was.
Oh.
Really important. So I don't apologize for that, and I don't believe in canceling people. And I think it's important for people like Tucker Carlson and yourself to interview everyone. I don't believe in trying to cancel someone by refusing to interview them and question them. And I did speak at his conference back in 2022. However, I don't know Nick Fuentes. He's someone I've never exchanged text messages with or phone calls, but I did speak at his conference. That was the first time I had met him that day, and that was it. But I did watch the interview. I watched the full interview with Tucker, and I admire him for interviewing many people as well as exposing a lot of powerful information
I hear what
that
you're
he
saying.
does on his show.
I hear what you're saying about free speech. I mean, count me as guilty as a proponent of free speech. There's free speech, and then there is hate speech. And this is a man invited on a really prominent conservative show who said, even during that interview, he had a problem with, quote, organized Jewry, and he wasn't challenged on it. In the past, he has denied the Holocaust, called Adolf Hitler effing cool, talked about the fact that he thought Jim Crow was just fine, and on and on. So again, there is.
And that's why I don't support nor do I like Nick Fuentes.
There's free speech, and then there's just hateful language and sentiments.
Yeah, whatever. Okay.
Well, Dana, again, I told you on this interview that I'm committed to ending the toxic politics, and I think I don't want to have anything to do with it. You should have Nick Fuentes on your show, and you could ask him questions about that. I myself am not anti-Semitic. I have never criticized the Jewish people or said anything about.
Never criticized them, but then she talks against AIPAC. Why mentioning AIPAC, just AIPAC, when she's criticizing other organizations as well, right?
About them in particular. I am critical of the government of Israel, and I can criticize any government I.
Cutting edge. Charlie Kirk, the hate speech don't exist. Yeah, it still needs to be protected, I think.
Want to in the entire world as well as our own. And a lot of the times I'm criticizing our own government for failing the American people. And I think that needs to be the focus, and that's the most important thing people care about, is being able to afford groceries, housing, health insurance, and having a good quality of life.
Yeah, and I hear you saying you're not anti-Semitic, and you've said it before, and you know, some of the posts that you have put up, which you have apologized for, certainly have tropes in them that have been used historically.
All right. Thank you for your time, Marjorie. You're messing up. I hope that you go back and rethink your messages. All right, this is a quick little video that I'm going to show you real quick. This is Tyler Oliveira. He actually went on a ride-along with ICE and arrested, and deported some illegal immigrants. So he's out here. These people already think that they're gonna get in trouble. They're probably illegal. Let's see what he asks.
Like ICE raids. ICE bad?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Nazis tend to be bad.
¿Tú conoces personas ilegales en el mundo, en este país?
Look at that.
No soy fan.
I'm walking out of here.
I'm gonna guess you're not a fan.
Yeah, no.
Look at this cookie. This guy, he thinks he's a woman. Even the dog is trying to get away from him.
I think like any basically moral person, I'm not a fan of a Nazi administration.
As a moral person.
Por deportación?
Mucho mal, sí.
Okay. Mucho mal? Mucho mal.
Now, for being Hispanics, that's not how you say it's too bad. We don't say mucho mal. We say muy mal. These guys didn't even correct this bad Spanish.
Mucho mal?
Mucho mal.
And if there are any like heinous...
Look at that. Look at that cupcake. That right there, my friends, it's what we have to deal with in Washington State and every other blue city and state. Men pretending to be women and people that are ignorant that keep pushing that agenda onto others. That's pathetic. All right, I do have an article to read with you guys. Not that one, that's taxes. Let's see here. Here we go, guys. FBI shuts down Tucker Carlson's claim about Trump attempted assassin Thomas Crook. It just doesn't add up. It just doesn't add up. So Tucker Carlson has to address it. Tucker Carlson's claims that the FBI lied about facts surrounding President Trump's 20-year-old would-be assassin, Thomas Crooks, were debunked by the federal agency. Crooks nearly killed President Donald Trump at a campaign rally in Butler, Pennsylvania, last July when he shot at the then presidential candidate. The bullet grazed Trump's ear, and the incident resulted in the death of a 50-year-old firefighter, Corey Comparatore. Two other men, David Dodge and James Coppenshaver, sustained injuries. Crooks was shot dead by a Secret Service counter-sniper just moments after the opening fire. Over a year after the assassination attempt, the former Fox News host is claiming that things are not adding up. And this is what happens when you start digging into theories. And you are going to find all kinds of different information out there. I will say this. I lost all confidence, which I used to have confidence on Tucker. I think that he was on point, calling out all the bullcrap from the leftists and, what he was saying about President Trump. But somewhere along the lines, he lost his way. I just don't trust him. He's gone way off rails. Candace Owens is another one of those people that, they're so smart. They're still very smart. But they have just gone off the rails on theories. And I understand, we all want to find out the truth. We all want to, to see, the innocent, get justice, etc. But to start coming up with theories just so that you can make an excuse of why you are acting or saying or doing whatever it is that you're doing and saying, that's not enough. All right, here's your next one is your favorite candidate, our Maryland man, Mr. Abrego Garcia. That's right. Kilmer Abrego Garcia speaking at rally and prayer vigil. President Donald Trump's administration asked U.S. District Court Judge Paula Zinis, or I don't know how you say that, Zinis, to allow the deportation of Kilmer Abrego Garcia, stating that Department of Justice and diplomatic conditions have been met. Abrego Garcia's attorney argued the action is retaliatory and that he has not received adequate due process. The government has filed to dissolve a preliminary injunction that currently blocks his removal. Now, you're telling me he hasn't had due process. Bro. Today, after all the due process that has been given to him, he still hasn't gotten due process. Unbelievable. I don't get it. That's just me. I'm being ignorant. I don't get it. You are illegal. Get the hell off our land. You're a criminal. You go to jail and then you get the hell off our land. Is that how adequate is due process? Due process is he was found guilty of human smuggling. He was also found guilty, I believe. I think it was found guilty, right? About requesting or child pornography or some things like that. I really stopped paying attention. I got sick of listening about this guy, this MS-13 guy. The American Constitution, number one, is for American citizens. I understand you guys. They want to give the American Constitution to illegal immigrants. I get it. But nonetheless, he is a citizen of El Salvador, not a Maryland man father. He is not an American citizen. That point is proven 1,000%. He is illegal. He has to go. Maybe a little bit. I mean, he is Salvadorian, bro, and you know, we're pretty damn close. We are neighbors. Stop judging me. The DOJ noted that Liberia has provided assurances Abrego Garcia would not face persecution or torture. They added that an immigration officer said he is unlikely to face harm there. So he can go to Liberia and be a Liberian father. Whoa. DOJ further argued that courts should defer to executive branch diplomatic determinations. The DOJ stated Liberia is a thriving democracy and one of the United States' closest partners on the African continent. If they don't want to separate families, I think that the wife can go with him and the kids. Why not? Find a new life in Africa. Liberian girl, you know that you came and you changed my world. Sorry about that. Little Michael Jackson moment there. Abrego Garcia's attorney argued that his transfer to other countries, sorry about that, may be retaliatory. So what? Following his successful challenge to a prior deportation to El Salvador. That's great. Who cares? His counsel also contended that due process has not been met. Sure, let's go ahead and spend more hundreds of thousands of dollars of taxpayers' money to protect a non-citizen of the United States of America. It makes so much sense how people fight. It's the constitutional right. Americans got to spend millions and millions of dollars so that people that don't love our country and break our laws can have due process. Due process for an illegal immigrant is show me your papers. Do you have a right to stay here, yes or no? No, get the hell out of my country. He already had an order of immediate deportation, by the way, when they deported him the first time. Pam Bondi effed up on the paperwork. It doesn't matter. He already was supposed to be off the United States soil. Very simple. Yeah, I think the Constitution needs to be amended one more time. Because thanks to morons that don't know how to defend this country, and guys, nobody in here, okay? Nobody in this chat. I'm talking to generalized things. Any moron that will say that it's okay for our enemies to invade our country, that we are supposed to give them due process and spend billions of dollars of taxpayer dollars to give these invaders due process, are morons. And they are the problem on this country. Atheno says, somebody call ICE on Dennis. By all means, we support ICE 100%. 100%. Man, my muds are just kicking ass on this chat. That's right. Don't allow disrespect. This is the Dennis Herrera show, and this show is made for American patriots. America first. And this is exactly what I'm talking about right here. I love it when people get triggered and start showing their true colors. They start defending illegal immigrants. You see that right there? And then they blame us for not putting America first when we go out there and try to make deals abroad, other countries, etc. But they come in here and they want to show everything that they can to defend illegal immigrants, even gangbangers, even criminals that are supposed to be in jail. I say don't deport him. I say put his ass in jail for 30 years and then let him free. Maybe give him some papers when he comes out. Thanks for the super chat, bruh. Let's see. You look Poland. Big example of a strong and patriotic country. Thank you, man. I know who you're talking about, too. That guy's tough. Hey, you know what I'm saying? The guy's right. The guy is right. All right, that was the article that I wanted to read. Just a little bit on that. There's one more. Not on my X account. That wasn't it. Where are you, my friend? Oh, some bitch. Did I delete you? Oh my goodness. Let me see. Come on. Mara Biscuit. You know what? Oh, I know what I'm going to do. Let me see here. Watch this. I got something to show you guys. Hold on. First Amendment rights. No. Oh, here we go.
Mjølnerparken doesn't look like a slum, but the Danish government has officially classified this Copenhagen suburb as a ghetto.
This is Denmark, a very liberal country. Oh, guys, what is this? What do we have here? 3 more subscribers, and we are at 11,000 subscribers. Thank you guys for subscribing, for liking the videos. I appreciate you. Much love. This is Denmark. We all know Denmark is a very liberal country. And, well, let me see. About 42 years ago, they signed this thing that allow migrants to move in and to practically kind of like a sanctuary city, so to speak. Okay. Now I want you to pay attention to that little building right here. As you see the graffiti on there, I never think graffiti looks nice on any building. Now, if you're a New Yorker, California, and you live in the ghetto side of Seattle or whatnot, you're used to seeing this and you think it's art. It's vandalizing. It's not art. It's garbage, okay? Garbage. That's right, my man. My man. Once we hit that 11,000, let me know, and then we can play The Boss. Let's see. I think we got it. Let me see. Did we get it? No, not yet. Almost. Does Thomas Sowell said Constitution is not a suicide pact? You know what? I haven't heard him talk about it, to be honest. Not on that point. But I do respect his opinion.
We got a letter that we can't have any more residents here in Denmark. We are not allowed to be here anymore, and Danish government won't renew our residence.
Danish MPs voted by 70 to 24 to move refugees arriving on Danish soil to asylum centres in a partner country, potentially outside Europe.
I will be very frank. People come from coming outside who commit serious crimes and do not respect our value and way of life. I don't think they have a place in Europe.
That's true, Vinny.
This is Denmark, a country of just over 6 million people. For decades, it's been famous for being one of the happiest places on earth. Universal healthcare, free education, a society built on trust and equality. But recently...
Yeah, guys, this is a dream come true for all Democrats. for all liberal socialist people. Look at that, guys. Universal health care, free education, and is built on trust and equality. It is perfect. How can anything go wrong? I think it's amazing. What happened here?
Something changed. In 2021, Denmark's prime minister stood in front of parliament and said something that shocked the world. We can't promise zero asylum seekers, but we can set that vision and do what we can to implement it. Not fewer refugees, not stricter limits, zero asylum seekers, period. And she meant it. Denmark passed a law to ship asylum seekers to Rwanda, 6,000 kilometers away, so they'd never even set foot on Danish soil. They started seizing jewelry and cash from refugees at the border. They're demolishing entire neighborhoods to break up immigrant communities. They're forcing 1-year-old children in immigrant areas to attend mandatory daycare for 25 hours a week to learn Danish values.
You hear that? That is exactly what we want in our country. We want people to assimilate to the way that we run our country. We don't need them to come here to tell us how to run our country. In a specific, the Muslim religious people that come in here and they have to cover all of their body, if you cannot respect our laws here and you think you're going to change our laws to accommodate you, stay in your country. Don't come over here. We have a way of life, and we like it, and we don't want to change it. Liberty for all, thanks for the super chat. Why are we paying millions of dollars to El Salvador to keep their own people in prisons? I wonder if all deported are Salvadorians. I believe it's not all Salvadorians. I thought there was very hardcore criminals that were also illegal here. So I believe that they're paying them millions of dollars to do that. But if we did it over here, it would be a lot more expensive. Now, if we can have these Democrats to stop fighting us on deporting criminals and sending them to El Salvador jail, then we can put good use to that money. But this is all on the left side that does not allow us to do what we need to do. Thank you, Tanya. I see you. How are you? I didn't see you there before. Official agrees, cutting edge. Japan is already doing the same. Yep. And we should as well. I only remember that video because somebody says something about Poland, and they are being tough with it. Let me see. Such as gender means biological sex in Latin since 2,000 years ago and found in every medical document. Yes, and we don't play that. We are not God. We are made the way that we are made. I think the only people that can get away with having some sort of surgery for taking off that little hot dog or, making the Panama Canal available is people that are born with both sexes, both genders. They get to choose what they want. And if they want to keep both, those are the only people that will accept that that's the way that they came out. But everybody else needs to follow the rules of God, the nature in which we are created. I guess in some way that would be an abomination, but yeah, we won't judge that far. We'll let God deal with that. It's not a matter of a left versus right. Unfortunately, my friend, it is. And in this channel, we believe of the middle, being right in the middle of all the subjects and all the things that are happening in our country. We want to be balanced. We want to be fair. I'm going to tell you guys something. If you haven't noticed already, I like to be a balanced person. And unless you know how to talk to me, unless you know how to bring facts up to me and convince me, you're not going to get me to agree with you on anything. And thus, I say this is a MAGA country chat. If you are courageous enough to be in here, hey, hats off to you, all right? But that's how we do it. Click like this man is awesome, says Freshly, and subscribe. Thanks, man. Thanks.
Or their families lose welfare benefits.
So here's the other thing. If they don't assimilate to the country, they do not get any benefits at all. Nothing. There is no rights. No rights. And they leave the country. That's how it works. Stop all the benefits to all the illegal immigrants, Stop giving them rights, and they will leave on their own back to their country. The moment that you keep telling them that there's a better life for them here by breaking the law is the moment that you're telling everybody else to come in here illegally. And that's what's happened. I've been saying this for decades, and it's happened, and we have proof, and here we are. Now imagine this. Socialists, and we still haven't gotten to our video yet, socialists believe that they need to go and house and feed and accommodate homeless people. So they want to make all these little 4,000 houses they want to make, 4,000 mini houses they want to make for the homeless. Now, what is that going to tell you? Other homeless from other states, from other cities are going to be like, oh, wait, Seattle is a sanctuary city. They're making a lot of homes for homeless. I'm going to go there. And we see a high spike of homelessness in Seattle. We see a high spike of illegal immigrants in Seattle. Why? You guessed it, sanctuary. They don't follow the laws. They break the laws. They change the laws to accommodate lazy people that want to take advantage of any place just so they can make a quick buck. And I'm against that.
Isn't some far-right fringe party. This is the center-left Social Democrats, the party of the working class, the party that...
Wait, what? Is that... Did I just hear that? Let me go back here. Let's take a listen to who they are and why we are against everything that's happening here in the United States of America. Listen.
Right fringe party. This is the center-left Social Democrats, the party of the working class, the party that built Denmark's famous welfare state. And the Danish people, most of them love it. The Prime Minister's approval ratings hit record highs. So what happened? How did one of the world's most liberal countries become a fortress? Today, on Across the Globe, we're diving into the real story behind Denmark's war on immigration, the refugee surge that changed everything, the integration crisis that nobody wanted to talk about, and the shocking policies that have turned Denmark into a model for hardliners across the West. To put it bluntly, this is a story of a country going from open arms to closed borders. So let's trace back, because Denmark wasn't always like this. For most of its modern history, Denmark prided itself on humanitarian values. It was one of the first countries to sign the 1951 Refugee Convention, joining the likes of Australia, Belgium, and Germany. Like many
Michelle, thanks for subscribing. I just saw that. Thank you.
European nations rebuilding after World War II, Denmark actively recruited guest workers in the 1960s and 70s, bringing in laborers from Turkey, Pakistan, and Yugoslavia to fill critical labor shortages. The assumption was simple. They'd work, earn money, and return home. But many didn't. They stayed, brought their families, and built lives in Denmark. Then, in 1983, Denmark passed one of the most generous immigration laws in Europe, giving asylum seekers strong protections and a real path to citizenship.
42 years ago.
For decades, Denmark quietly accepted UN quota refugees and welcomed diversity. Back in 1980, immigrants made up just 2.6% of Denmark's population. By 2025, that number had jumped to 12.6%. with another 3.7% being Danes born to immigrant parents.
Hey, William.
Nearly all of Denmark's population growth since 1980 has come from immigration. But here's the thing. This wasn't a gradual change that people got used to. It was a sudden shock that changed everything.
We're one of Europe's smallest countries. Welfare economy is under a lot of pressure. So we simply have to reduce the amount of people who travel up through Europe to specifically apply for asylum in Denmark.
The turning point came in 2015, the European migration crisis. Over 1 million asylum seekers flooded into Europe that year, fleeing wars in Syria, Afghanistan, and Iraq. Denmark, a country of around 6,010,000, received 21,316 asylum applications in 2015 alone. To put that in perspective, Denmark received just 3,500 asylum applications in 2012, a 6-fold increase in 3 years. That's the most in the country's entire history. And the problem was, Denmark wasn't prepared. The system was truly overwhelmed. Small towns suddenly had refugee centers pop up overnight. The government quietly allowed thousands of migrants to transit through to Sweden, which had more generous policies at the time. But the ones who stayed, many came with limited education and no Danish language skills. Unlike the structured guest worker program in the past, there was no integration plan at this scale. They created a problem Denmark didn't know how to solve. By 2016, Denmark had reinstated border controls. They slashed refugee benefits. And then they did something extraordinary. They placed ads in Lebanese newspapers announcing they'd cut welfare for asylum seekers by 50%.
Over 21 million illegal immigration people. That's not a problem. You don't know how that affects the economy, do you?
The message was blunt. Don't come here. You won't find paradise. The doors were closing fast. But why? Why did a country known for generosity and openness suddenly turn so hostile? The truth is, Denmark had been struggling with immigration for years. They just hadn't been talking about it publicly. And when they finally did, the statistics were...
No, we're supposed to protect the border. That's where it stops. That's where we don't make any deportations. If they don't break the law and they don't come here illegally, we don't have to do anything. We don't have to do anything. But unfortunately, they invaded our country and we got to clean it up. It's that simple, guys. It's very simple. Has nothing to do with us being evil people. They should have never came here, period. It's not hard, people. It's not hard.
Shocking. Denmark had accepted immigrants, mostly from the Middle East, North Africa, and Somalia for decades. But integration wasn't working. Ethnic enclaves formed in Danish cities, communities where Danish wasn't the main language, where unemployment was high, education levels were low, and crime was a growing problem. The government started calling these areas ghettos, not as an insult, but an official designation. If a neighborhood had more than 50% non-Western immigrants and scored poorly on employment, education, and crime, it got labeled a ghetto. By 2018, Danish politicians were openly saying these immigrant-heavy districts were a threat to national unity. The government plan was titled A Denmark Without Parallel Societies, No Ghettos by 2030, explicitly framing these neighborhoods as threats to social cohesion and the welfare state. Prime Minister at the time, Lars Løkke Rasmussen, stated in his 2018 New Year's speech that ghettos could reach out their tentacles onto the streets by spreading violence, and that cracks have appeared on the map of Denmark. And the numbers backed up what he was saying. Immigrants made up about 14% of Denmark's population, but they accounted for 29% of violent crime convictions. That's more than double their share of the population. Then there was the cost. In 2018, Denmark's Ministry of Finance released a bombshell report. Immigrants from non-Western countries and their children cost Denmark a net 31 billion kroner. That's about 4.2 billion euros in a single year. Danish taxpayers were stunned. A relatively small immigrant population was creating a massive drain on the welfare state they'd spent generations building. But nothing made immigration feel more personal than...
They are not deporting American citizens. You're the moron for calling me a moron for that, number one. Number two, American citizens are getting arrested because they're idiots. They're obstructing justice. That's why they get arrested. They can only deport illegal immigrants. I will say this. If you are a green card holder in this country, by law, you have to behave. One of the rules is you gotta follow the law. The moment you break that law, you lose your green card benefits and you get deported. That is the law. That is the condition of the privilege. If you become a naturalized American citizen, there is a 10-year probation time. If you violate the law and you turn against your own country, especially with this whole invasion and we had to deport all these people that are illegal, and you decide that you want to go and assault a federal agent, you can lose your citizenship and get deported. Those are the only scenarios that I can tell you that right now. Ilhan Omar, for example, she lied on her documentation. She married her brother to get a visa to come here. Vet, thanks for stopping by. Get the hell out of my chat. You got to know the difference between illegal immigrants, between actual American citizens, and those who have been naturalized American citizens and are breaking the law. Have a good night, old vet. We're not going to stand for that. They got to go. They got to go. Period. All right. I think I explained that enough. And if you don't believe me, go find out what is the actual reasons why you can lose your green card or your citizenship. Go find out. Even American citizens that are born here, if you are a traitor to this nation, to this country, I believe you can lose that citizenship as well. And I don't think that they can kill you, but I might be wrong. Okay? That's what I think. So go look it up. Don't believe me. Go search it up and say reasons to lose your green card privileges and naturalized citizenship.
Housing. Denmark already had one of the most expensive housing markets in Europe.
Sounds
Prices
like New York.
were skyrocketing. Young Danes couldn't afford to buy homes. Renters.
You know why? Socialist. You know why? Universal health care. Woo! Expensive. New York. That's the next place. New York.
Were being squeezed out of cities. And then in 2025, a groundbreaking study came out. It found that over 60% of Denmark's house price boom since 1999 could be directly attributed to immigration-driven population growth.
What? Oh, no. Unbelievable. Can you believe this, guys? Can you believe this, guys? Now, I know all my leftists and Democrats haters that come in here once in a while, the ones that don't want to actually listen to what I say. How many times have I said massive illegal immigration destroys economy? The economy of a country. 21 million that we know of. I heard it was 50, but we're not even going to go that far. We'll keep it, kind of quick here. Thank you for the jewels, William. You rock. You just heard it. You just heard it. There you go, from Denmark, which, by the way, it looks like a beautiful place, to be honest. It looks beautiful. It looks clean. At least in this video, that looks amazing, actually. Very beautiful. But I've been telling you, guys, this guy wanted my channel like over a month ago, 2 months ago, right? When I was starting to come in here. And I said, supply and demand. We have a shortage of housing available for the American population, okay? That includes residents, legal migrants, right, that are able to rent places. Let's remember there are military service people. They got to keep moving back and forth, so they always need a housing available. And I said, when we can always have problems with illegal immigrants. We can always have that. And migration is great when it's accounted for. You see, not everybody gets a visa because we have a limited amount of people that we can give access to every year. And so there is some rules and laws that we have to abide by. And so I said the mass illegal immigration is going to cause a big burden on the economy. Washington State is not the most expensive, but it's getting there. California, the most illegal immigrants. Very expensive and getting even worse. It has been getting expensive for decades. But now they want to say, oh, wait a minute, tariffs. It's President Donald Trump's fault, guys. Oregon, no taxes, no sales tax. They get taxed on their checks, very high tax. And they want to keep raising those taxes because they don't want to charge sales tax. And that's pretty cool, right? That's cool. I get it. Why are they multiplying with homelessness in Oregon? California is overwhelmed. We keep getting multiplied in homelessness. Why? Because socialists keep offering free housing, free food, free health care. Guys, what is what's the incentive for me to work? Besides, I have a self-esteem and I have an ego and I have a moral code that I'm not going to be a panhandler, and I'm a man with integrity. I got to do what I got to do to make money as long as it's legal, but I got to work for it. This channel, I'm doing this channel for money. This is my job. I wouldn't be able to do this without your support. So I appreciate that. But I'm not out there selling drugs. I'm not in here lying to you. Here is a country that backs me up. A whole country. Big example. 40 years, 42 years of making a big mistake. Of saying open borders. Of saying bring all the weary and all the heavy heart and all this, whatever. The Statue of Liberty. That's not what it's all about. America first. America first. Aunt Willie, this is a really great job. And I can guarantee you that you can't do what I do. Maybe you can. Anybody can. But anyways, here we go. It's a fact, and we have proof.
Think about that. More than half of the housing crisis blamed on immigration. The study showed that in areas where the immigrant population grew by just 1% over 5 years, home prices jumped 11% and rents rose 6%. Native Danes started moving out of immigrant-heavy neighborhoods. What researchers called white flight, which only spread the housing crunch to other areas. People were furious.
Thank you, Brian.
Suddenly, immigration wasn't just an abstract political issue. It was personal. It was affecting where people could live, how much they got paid, whether they could afford a...
Oh, and we got to do pause time because I checked our numbers and we hit 11,000 members. To all my patriots that support me, enjoy the dance. Throw some emojis out there, especially if you're members. Let's go. Let's go. Everybody enjoy our president dancing. Bam! The big boss, el jefe, el patrón. Rick Young says, using YouTube for factual evidence. Laugh out loud. Isn't that crazy, though? Isn't that crazy? Right now, YouTube is not relevant anymore. Guys, this is so dumb. Oh, my goodness.
Future in their own country. And there was a political earthquake brewing in the background.
Nice.
This is where Danish politics gets really interesting. For years, a far-right party called the Danish People's Party had been screaming about immigration. They were treated like fringe extremists.
Sounds so familiar, except we're still going through it. They already been through it. But we still don't learn, do we?
But in 2015, they won 21.1% of the vote and 37 seats in the Folketing, making it the second largest party in Denmark.
And this is why it's important that we keep supporting our party, President Trump. MAGA, baby. This is why we're MAGA country, because we're not falling asleep on the wheel. We are awake and we have common sense. We don't play with our emotions. We don't decide human life with emotional damage. We use common sense. America first means a lot of things. It doesn't mean presidents stay home. It means that we all have to fight. Just like Omar said, fight, fight, fight. Julian says, funny how this host would never have been allowed in now under America First. Is that right, Julian? What would that be? Why would that be? Why would that be? I followed the law all the way until I became a senior citizen. I mean, a senior citizen, an American citizen. I'm thinking about the no taxes on senior citizens. Yeah, it's a big difference. And since you don't know me, I will tell you that I waited 2.5 years as a green card holder to make up my mind to become an American citizen because I wanted to make sure that it was the right choice. And when I make that choice, it's until the day that I die. That is my loyalty to the United States of America and all my patriots that know me, support me, and love me. And I appreciate them 100%.
Denmark for the first time in its history. So now they were propping up the government and demanding stricter immigration policies. Here's the thing. Most countries would panic about this. The far right taking power, democracy in crisis. But Denmark did something different. The mainstream parties, including the center-left Social Democrats, looked at those election results and made a calculation. If we don't take this issue,
they think they're kings, guys. Democracy is endangered. The kings are coming. Democracy, they're destroying democracy.
seriously, we'll lose everything. So they stole the far right's platform.
Thanks,
Mette
John.
Frederiksen, the social democratic leader, had once criticized Denmark's immigration laws as the toughest in Europe. But by 2019, he was campaigning on a promise to stop immigration from non-Western countries entirely. And it worked. She won. Her approval rating soared. And the far-right Danish People's Party, their vote share collapsed. Because why vote for the far right when the mainstream left is already doing what you want? Today, there's a rare cross-party consensus in Denmark. Both left and right agree. Minimize refugee intake, enforce strict integration, preserve Danish culture. It's not even controversial anymore. So what did Denmark actually do? How far did they go?
A Danish minister is defending plans to strip migrants of cash and valuables to pay for their keep.
Let's quickly run through some of the most shocking policies to paint a better picture. The jewelry law. In 2016, Denmark passed a law allowing police to confiscate cash and valuables from asylum seekers. Anything worth more than about $1,500 to pay for their upkeep. The world called it the jewelry law and condemned it as inhumane. Denmark enforced it anyway. The ghetto package. In 2018, Denmark designated certain immigrant neighborhoods as official ghettos and created special rules. Immigrants living in these areas face double punishments for crimes. And here's the wildest part. Children as young as 1 year old are required to attend 25 hours per week of mandatory daycare to learn Danish values. Christmas, democracy, gender equality.
That's right,
If
Terry.
parents refuse, they lose welfare benefits. The government is literally forcing toddlers into state-run cultural training. This policy was so extreme that Denmark was hauled before the EU Court of Justice on charges of racial discrimination. Denmark's response? They defended it anyway. To them, breaking up these neighborhoods and forcing integration wasn't discrimination. It was necessary to preserve Danish society. Revoking Syrian refugees. In 2020, Denmark started revoking residence permits for Syrian refugees, claiming parts of Syria were now safe to return to. Hundreds of Syrians who'd lived in Denmark for years, learned the language, got jobs. They were told to go back or stay in deportation camps. Denmark became the first country in Europe to do this. The Rwanda Plan. Inspired by Australia's offshore detention model, Denmark passed a law in 2021 to send asylum applicants to Rwanda for processing. Not temporary detention, permanent processing.
That's how you know they're Democrat socialists right there, bro. Oh, man. This is what the leftists want us to be like. We ain't going down like that. We're going to keep fighting. We're going to keep telling the truth. I don't care how much they lie about our president. Everybody, right now, President Donald Trump is, he looks like the bad guy for this Epstein file things, but I'm going to tell you something. He's going to give up, and he's going to allow those files to go free, and everybody on the other side and even across the world is going to pay big time, but not President Donald Trump. He is not there the way people think. I can tell you that right now.
The idea is that no asylum seeker ever sets foot in Denmark. Ever. The plan passed Parliament 70-24. It's not some fringe idea, it's mainstream policy. Banning Islamic practices. Denmark banned full-face veils in public in 2018. They've proposed banning the call to prayer. They've cracked down on foreign imams. All in the name of preserving Danish values.
That's right.
Each of these policies is extreme on its own. Together, they paint a clear picture. Denmark is making itself as unwelcoming as possible. The message to asylum seekers is simple: don't come. So why is this happening now? What's the crucial question that needs answering to help all of this make more sense? After decades of relative tolerance, why the sudden shift? Well, it's not one thing. It's everything coming together at once. First, the welfare state. Danes are proud of their system. Free healthcare, free education, generous unemployment benefits. But it only works if everyone contributes. When they saw billions being spent on immigrants who weren't integrating, who weren't working, who were drawing more than they were putting in,
when I run for governor, you can judge me on what I speak.
They panicked. The math didn't work anymore. Second, security fears. Denmark is a safe country. Crime is low. But high-profile cases involving immigrants, gang violence in migrant neighborhoods, even terrorism, like the 2015 Copenhagen shooting by a Danish-born son of immigrants, left a mark. Many Danes started associating refugees with danger. Third, the parallel societies. This is a big one. Danes don't just want immigrants to live in Denmark. They want them to become Danish. Speak the language, share the values, integrate completely. When they saw
I think that's what President Trump's been saying all along, including all of us. And I don't know.
Neighborhoods where Danish wasn't spoken, where women wore face veils, where kids weren't celebrating Christmas, they saw their culture being eroded. They saw a
Thank you, Deborah.
future where Denmark wouldn't be Denmark anymore. And here's where it gets controversial.
And we see a future where the United States of America is not going to be the United States of America. We see it. That's why we're fighting. Don't give up, patriots. We're going to continue to grow, and we're going to continue to tell the truth.
When the war in Ukraine started, Denmark welcomed over 41,000 Ukrainian refugees in 2022 and 2023. Quick residency permits, immediate support, no controversy. Why? Because Ukrainians are European. They're Christian. They're seen as culturally compatible. The contrast is stark. It started to look like Danes will welcome refugees as long as they're the right kind of refugees. And that's made the hardline stance feel justified to a lot of people. It's not about numbers, it's about culture. So there's one final question to try and answer here. What does the rest of the world think about all of this? Denmark's transformation has shocked the world.
Love you too, David.
Human rights groups call the policies cruel. The UN says they're harsh and possibly illegal. But inside Denmark, there's barely any outcry. The crackdown is popular. Asylum applications dropped from over 21,000 in 2015 to just 2,095 in 2021. The government calls that a success. A YouGov poll from 2018 found that 65% of Danes were against accepting any more migrants. By 2022, 46% of Danes stated that they wanted no more or only a few Muslims making residency in their country. Mette Frederiksen's government argues they're being realistic. When people realize they will be sent out of Europe, they will stop coming, said one social democratic lawmaker defending the Rwanda plan. And they will stop putting themselves in danger, he added. Other countries are paying attention.
Now it seems there's a lot of more countries that have rallied around the notion that we should get democratic control of the migrant flows, and I'm just very, very happy that this is the case.
Denmark's strict immigration policies have found inspiration in Australia's Stop the Boats offshore processing model. And Denmark has been actively studying the Australian approach. Denmark's immigration minister even visited the controversial Nauru facility in 2024 to see how it works in practice. The UK designed its own offshore processing agreement with Rwanda by looking to Australia's model. And in 2021, Denmark became the first European country to pass legislation allowing it to transfer asylum seekers outside of Europe for processing. Denmark isn't an outlier anymore. It's helping shape a new European approach to migration. In conclusion, Denmark's war on immigration is one of the most intense political shifts in modern European history. A country famous for happiness, equality, and openness has become a fortress. They've gone from welcoming refugees to aiming for zero asylum seekers, from integration programs to demolishing immigrant neighborhoods, from a humanitarian leader to a hardline enforcer. And it's working, at least politically. The Danish people support it. The far right has collapsed because the mainstream adopted.
They probably put you by accident. If the name is close to another person's name, that's probably why. Guys, be careful who you put in timeout, okay?
Their policies. Other countries are following Denmark's lead. This is a story of a society that tried integration, decided it failed, and chose separation instead. It's a story of fear. Fear of...
You guys like that information about Denmark? I think it was probably the best example that I can give you about what's happening with our country here today. And guys, that's not even the tip of the iceberg. I have two old man professors here that are hardcore. One is socialist and one is a capitalist. I will probably leave that for tomorrow, but I can tell you this. Why is socialism destructive? The policies of allowing everybody to make decisions on business, how it runs, how much it pays, what it builds, how it sells it, when to sell it, and how much to sell it for. When you have too many people's input, a business is crippled. And a person that does all the investing and the person that is doing all the leading and is becoming a business owner, is going to get insurance, follows all the paperwork, does all the law, etc. It is not fair that anybody can come in and take that away from them. Socialism is very destructive. If you believe on illegal immigration, David, that does happen because of illegal immigration. Not just here in the States, but in the journey of what they have to go through. So there you go. We don't run on emotions. We have to use common sense as best as we can. The moment that we lose our common sense is the moment that we're doomed. Now, this video, I'm going to save it, and I'll probably play it tomorrow morning so that we can listen to it, and then we can go ahead and debate on it and see what we learn from it. But I can tell you, we need to continue deporting every single illegal immigrant that has come to this country. And I think that the first ones that we should get rid of, there's three categories for me. One of them are the hardcore criminals, thieves, rapists, etc., DUIs, anybody that has a misdemeanor. The second people that should be kicked off this country immediately, it's every illegal immigrant that is taking benefits from our country. They got to go immediately. If they cannot come over here to do something to help our country, they don't deserve to be here. Now, the one thing that people misunderstand is one thing is this. Socialists believe it's a human right to come here illegally. But capitalists and the American people, we believe that if somebody comes into this country, they have to come to this country legally. Second, they have to come to this country to give something to the country, not to take away from the country. See, no country is going to become wealthy and prosperous and successful if we keep having people, panhandlers, to come over and tell us how to run our country. It's never going to work. If you haven't learned anything from Denmark tonight, I don't think there's any help for you to understand why we think the way we think. We talk the way we talk. You see, when I opened this channel, I always agreed that there would be a freedom of speech and you can say anything you want. But what has happened with the freedom of speech that I allowed in my chat? The American patriots that believe that this country needs to be fought for, that they need to have the support, they were getting turned off because people are in here being hateful, throwing insults. They're not helping us. They are helping their country be destroyed. And so I'd rather have people, if they're going to be on the other side, that's fine. But you're going to come in here and you're going to respect the chat. Don't come in here throwing names, throwing accusations, because if you don't have respect for anybody, then you're in the wrong channel. I want American patriots to fill this channel. Thank you, Liberty for All. Did you take over? Not yet. Thank you for the chat, brother. I might be wrong on this, but I think it is because our laws, the Constitution, has been abused by everyone. That got us to this point. Absolutely, 100%. This is why I always say the Constitution of the United States of America is for Americans only. Residents have some rights. Visitors have no rights to our Constitution. If you break the law in this country, you can go to court. And you can go to court, present your case, and get your ass put in jail. Now, if you go to court and they find out that you are here illegally, you are immediately to be deported. That is due process. But we're not going to give you due process to say, well, let's fight for this illegal immigrant and see how we can help him stay here. No, that's not what the due process is. Due process is not for you to see how long you can stay in this country. Due process is to find out if you're a criminal, if you got papers, if you have the right to be in this country. That's what due process gives you. If you are illegal, you got to go immediately. Abriego Garcia, this Salvadorian gangbanger, months in and out of courts, years in and out of courts, human trafficking, other stuff that we're not going to go over. Even the wife, twice, called the police on him for beating her up, and one of them hitting her in the face with a shoe. This is the people you guys want to defend. We don't stand for that. We don't defend those kind of people. They got to go. Only illegal immigrants and people that don't love this country will support illegal immigration all the time. If you are in this country and you don't respect it, then you shouldn't be here. I think that it's kind of shitty that if I was, how about this? How about if I go down to Mexico and I wave my Honduras flag in Mexico and tell Mexican people that they are haters, that they are racist, and all this bull crap, and tell them how horrible of people they are because they don't allow me to be in Mexico? How would you react to me disrespecting your law, disrespecting your country, disrespecting your flag? How would you treat me? Would you allow me to thrive? Would you allow me to work in Mexico illegally? Would you allow me to use your papers so that I can work illegally? Would you allow me to commit fraud by using all your children's social securities and names so that I can get credit cards? I don't think so. I think the answer is no. And that's what we fight for. That's what we fight for. Yes? And guys, that's it for tonight. I was going to play this video, but the wife says she has to go somewhere, and I got to take her. So, guys, we've been here for 3 hours. I think that's fair enough. You guys know I love you. I appreciate you. And God bless you. God bless your family. And can't wait to see you guys tomorrow. I will try to get on as soon as I can so that we can continue speaking the truth. Any breaking news, of course, we're going to go ahead and talk about it. Let me read a couple of comments in here and see if we got any sense in the chat. Let's see. Nuggin says, 600,000 Chinamen, baby, will take our jobs. We talked about that already. Man, you guys missed a lot. Tune in to my next live. We'll go ahead and talk about all this stuff again if you guys need me to. I mean, there is a Honduran. What somebody say Honduran? Let me see. There's a Honduran on the internet talking bad about half of American citizens. Dante, what the hell are you talking about? No, man. Dante, you are no longer allowed to chat in this chat. You have been Fired. Somebody find Dante and send him home. Go home to mommy. If you guys don't know where that's from, that's President Donald Trump. Get him out of here. I gotta go, but I gotta read a couple of more. You know what? I'm not gonna go before doing this. Bye, Dante. Guys, to all my American patriots, God bless you. You guys have a good night, okay? It's always fun having you in there. It gives me hope that we are doing something right and that we are fighting in this together for our country. God bless you guys. Have a wonderful evening. Until tomorrow, you all be blessed. But you know what? I'm going to play the boss song on the way out. I think that's how I'm going to do it, okay? Let me put this in here. Thank you guys for everything. I appreciate you. Until next time, you all be blessed. Let's go. If I can get this to play. Woo! Like a boss. El jefe, el patrón. Get him out of here. Go home to mommy.
Is he here, kid?